The Great Pyramid, mostly that's the one that's been studied. We actually haven't done a whole lot of studying on the other pyramids. It's something that's severely lacking. In fact, we've not even cleared off the bases of some of the other pyramids up at Giza. It's crazy.
So you can understand why people start to question the historical narrative.
The reality of them is probably stranger and more interesting than anything people can think up in terms of fiction.
For centuries, we've believed that the ancient Egyptians were the masterminds behind this architectural marvel. But what if they weren't? What if instead, they simply moved into these colossal structures? Join us as we explore groundbreaking theories, unravel new discoveries, and challenge everything we thought we knew about one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world.
I'm willing to accept that the Great Pyramid was largely completed by the ancient Egyptians.
The Great Pyramid of Giza, built during the 4th dynasty of Egypt for Pharaoh Khufu around 2580 to 2560 BC, has long captured the imagination of people worldwide. The discovery of its entrance and the subsequent exploration of its interior chambers have significantly deepened our understanding of ancient Egyptian architecture and burial practices. For centuries, the entrance to this monumental structure was a mystery. Originally, the pyramid was encased in smooth Tura limestone, which concealed any openings. By the time explorers began their quest, most of this casing had been stripped away, revealing the underlying structure.
The Great Pyramid was sealed. It was a sealed monument.
The first recorded discovery of the entrance dates back to 820 AD when the Caliph al-Mamun ordered an expedition to uncover the pyramid's secrets.
The Caliph al-Mamun, who was running Egypt at the time, wanted to get inside the Great Pyramid.
His workers supposedly found the hidden entrance after hearing a stone fall within the pyramid. They located the entrance about 17 meters above the ground on the northern face, slightly to the east of the central axis. This discovery led them to a descending passageway. From the entrance, the descending passageway measures about 1.2 meters high and 3.5 wide, sloping downwards at an angle of approximately 26 degrees.
Is there not a hidden chamber as well?
In fact, there is a whole underworld at Giza. This is beginning to be recognized.
This passage extends for about 105 meters into the pyramid, eventually reaching the Subterranean Chamber, also known as the Pit. This chamber lies beneath the pyramid, carved into the bedrock, and is unfinished, roughly hewn, and not fully smoothed out like other parts of the pyramid. Measuring approximately 27 by 14 meters and about 8.6 meters high at its highest point, the chamber's purpose remains unclear.
We actually don't know what these chambers were for. No burial of any pharaoh was ever found inside the Great Pyramid.
Some theories suggest it was an early attempt at a burial chamber or simply an unfinished part of the construction. Halfway along the descending passageway, an ascending passageway branches off upwards. Similar in dimensions to the descending passageway, it extends for about 39 meters before reaching the Grand Gallery. The entrance to the ascending passageway was originally concealed by a stone block, adding an extra level of security. The Grand Gallery is one of the pyramid's most impressive features. It is a steeply inclined corridor, measuring about 46.6 meters in length, 8.6 meters in height, and 2.1 meters in width at the base, narrowing slightly towards the top. The walls of the Grand Gallery are lined with precisely cut stones, and the ceiling consists of corbelled stone blocks, creating a vaulted appearance. The floor has a series of slots, possibly for the placement of beams or to aid in the transportation of heavy objects. Approximately halfway along the Grand Gallery, a horizontal passageway leads to the so-called Queen's Chamber. This chamber is smaller than the King's Chamber, measuring about 5 3/4 meters by 5 1/4 meters, with a height of 6 1/4 meters. The walls are smooth and the ceiling is pointed, forming a gabled roof. The exact purpose of the Queen's Chamber is still debated. It might have been intended as a secondary burial chamber or a symbolic chamber for the pharaoh's spirit. Continuing up the Grand Gallery, a horizontal passage leads to the King's Chamber, the most important room in the pyramid. The King's Chamber is rectangular, measuring about 1.5 by 5.2 meters, and has a flat roof composed of massive granite beams. The chamber's walls are also lined with granite, and the floor consists of large granite blocks. Inside the King's Chamber is a large granite sarcophagus, believed to have held Khufu's body. The sarcophagus is too large to have been brought in through the existing passages, indicating it was placed during the construction of the pyramid. Above the king's chamber are 5 relieving chambers, designed to distribute the weight of the pyramid and prevent the roof of the king's chamber from collapsing. These chambers are separated by large horizontal slabs of granite, each layer relieving some of the weight above. In recent times, advanced technologies like ground-penetrating radar and muon tomography have been employed to explore the pyramid further. These methods have led to the discovery of previously unknown voids and chambers, such as the Scan Pyramid's Big Void, a large empty space above the Grand Gallery discovered in 2017. The purpose of this void remains a mystery and continues to be a topic of ongoing research and speculation. The area surrounding the Great Pyramid of Giza, also known as Khufu's Pyramid, has been a treasure trove of archaeological discoveries.
I think there's a lot more remains to be discovered under the Giza Plateau.
Yeah.
These finds offer remarkable insights into ancient Egyptian civilization, their burial practices, religious beliefs, and daily life. One of the most intriguing discoveries is the solar boat pits, unearthed in 1954 by Egyptian archaeologist Kamal El-Malak. These pits contain 2 intact boats buried near the Great Pyramid, positioned on the southern side. Known as solar barks, these boats were believed to serve a dual purpose. They were intended for Khufu's journey with the sun god Ra across the sky during the day and through the underworld at night. Another theory suggests they might have been used in the funerary procession of the pharaoh. The boats are made of Lebanese cedar wood, meticulously assembled without nails. The larger boat measures about 43.6 meters in length and features a sophisticated design with a cabin, oars, and rope bindings, using a technique known as mortise and tenon. The first boat was painstakingly reconstructed over 14 years by Egyptian conservator Ahmed Youssef Mustafa and is now displayed in the Khufu Boat Museum beside the Great Pyramid. The second boat remains in situ, awaiting advanced preservation techniques. In the early 1990s, Egyptian archaeologist Zahi Hawass and his team made a groundbreaking discovery southeast of the Great Pyramid, the tombs of the workers who built the pyramids. The tombs provided evidence that the builders were paid laborers who worked in 3-month rotating shifts, reflecting the societal structure and economy of the Old Kingdom. The tombs contained skeletal remains showing signs of healed injuries, indicating that workers had access to medical care. Pottery shards, tools, and remnants of food supplies such as bread and beer were also found, shedding light on their diet and daily life. The presence of beef and fish bones suggests that the workers received good nutrition. The tombs were simple, yet carefully constructed from mud brick and limestone, indicating a level of respect for the workers. Some tombs had hieroglyphic inscriptions and modest grave goods, signifying the workers' social status and the reverence afforded to them. Another significant discovery was made in 1925 by American archaeologist George Reisner when he uncovered the Mastaba of Queen Hetepheres I, the mother of Khufu, in the Giza necropolis. Located to the northeast of the Great Pyramid, the tomb was initially hidden under debris. The tomb contained a large cache of funerary equipment, including a golden throne, a gilded bed with a canopy, chairs, a palanquin, and various personal items such as jewelry and cosmetic boxes. The craftsmanship of these items highlights the luxurious lifestyle of the royal family and the high level of artisanship of the period. Interestingly, Hetepheres' body was never found, leading to theories that her mummy might have been relocated or never placed in the tomb. Some suggest the burial equipment might have been prepared in anticipation of her death, but used for another purpose. The remains of Khufu's pyramid temple have been uncovered through various excavations conducted over the years, with significant contributions from archaeologists such as Mark Lehner and Zahi Hawass. The pyramid temple was a site for offerings and rituals to honor the deceased pharaoh Khufu. It played a central role in the funerary cult, where daily rituals and ceremonies ensured the pharaoh's immortality. The temple's remains include large limestone blocks, column bases, and fragments of statues and altars. The temple layout typically featured a courtyard, a hypostyle hall, and sanctuaries. The temple was connected to the pyramid by a causeway, which was used for processional purposes. Various small artifacts, including inscribed blocks, offering tables, and fragments of statues have been found. These artifacts shed light on the religious practices of the time, the artistic styles, and the materials used. Notably, fragments of a life-size statue of Khufu have been uncovered, providing insights into the pharaoh's appearance and royal iconography. The tomb of Kentkaus III, discovered by archaeologists in the early 20th century, is also referred to as the Fourth Pyramid due to its unique design. Located to the southeast of the Great Pyramid within the Giza necropolis, the tomb features a unique design that combines elements of both a pyramid and a mastaba. It includes a stepped pyramid base with a superstructure that might have been intended as a pyramid but was left unfinished.
But he found evidence of deliberate burial in a very complicated, difficult cave system, which you can hardly access. The archaeological establishment descended on him like a ton of bricks and tried to find all kinds of reasons why it couldn't possibly be.
Did you know about the mysterious Osiris Shaft hidden away on the Giza Plateau? This intriguing archaeological site, tucked away from the more famous Great Pyramids and the Sphinx, has a story that's slowly been coming to light over the years. While the big monuments grabbed all the early attention, the Osiris Shaft waited quietly for its turn in the spotlight.
Would it be fair to say that there's an element of a rediscovery of a lost technology from the past?
I think it would be fair to say that, yes.
It wasn't just another hole in the ground. This shaft held secrets of ancient Egyptian civilization and their religious practices that were only beginning to be uncovered. It's fascinating to think that this place was just sitting there, known since the late 19th century but not getting much love from explorers. They were all dazzled by the pyramids and Sphinx.
I don't know how they did it. All I know is they did it. I don't think anybody knows how they did it, how they lifted those stones, how they brought them up to that level. I think we're looking, again, at a lost technology.
But as it turns out, the Osiris Shaft had its own tale to tell, one that required a bit of patience to fully appreciate. Enter the 1990s and things started to change. That's when Zahi Hawass, a name many of you might recognize, took the reins and decided it was time to give the Osiris Shaft the attention it deserved. Under his guidance, a thorough exploration began, peeling back the layers of its complex architecture. What they found was a marvel, a glimpse into the depth of Egyptian religious thought and engineering prowess. But getting to the heart of the Osiris Shaft wasn't a walk in the park. The team faced the massive challenge of pumping out water that had filled its lower levels, especially the third level that was partially underwater.
But what happened a few years ago, that the water began to rise in front of the Sphinx temple outside. Then I was really afraid that this water can damage the Sphinx.
Imagine the effort it took to bring in modern pumping equipment and clear out all that water just to access the deepest secrets of the shaft. Its 3 levels diving deep into the earth turned out to be a fascinating puzzle of architecture, burial customs, and hidden treasures. The first thing that caught their eyes was the shaft's design itself. It's a marvel of ancient engineering, with each level serving its own mysterious purpose. Down at the very bottom, a large stone sarcophagus sits in a chamber that's partly underwater, painting a vivid picture of the ancient Egyptian underworld right there beneath our feet. It's as if they built their own version of the afterlife hidden deep in the Giza Plateau. But then there's the second level with its 6 empty burial shafts. Imagine the archaeologists' surprise finding them all vacant. It sparked so many questions. Were they plundered, or were they never meant to hold anything in the first place? This level offers a glimpse into the burial practices and rituals of the time, even if it leaves us guessing about some of the details. Despite the lack of inscriptions, a kind of ancient billboard that could have told us exactly who made this and when, the bits and pieces found throughout the shaft speak volumes. Pottery shards, fragments of stone vessels, and other small artifacts serve as breadcrumbs leading us back in time, suggesting that the Osiris Shaft might hail from the New Kingdom period. It's like detective work, where every clue helps build a case for when this incredible structure came into being. But perhaps the most touching finds were the mummified remains tucked away in the smaller chambers around that central sarcophagus. It's one thing to study the grand monuments and temples, but it's another to come face to face with the people themselves. Analyzing these remains gives us a rare peek into the lives of those who once walked the streets of ancient Egypt, what they ate, how they lived, and maybe even how they died. Let's talk about Osiris for a moment. He's not your average deity, he's the ancient Egyptian god of the afterlife, death and rebirth. The story goes that Osiris was betrayed by his brother Set, leading to a saga of death, dismemberment, and a resurrection that sounds like it came straight out of a blockbuster movie. His wife Isis put him back together and brought him back to life. Osiris's story is a cornerstone of Egyptian mythology, embodying the eternal cycle of life, death, and rebirth. And guess what? The Osiris Shaft is like a three-dimensional tribute to this epic tale. Down in the depths of the shaft, there's this chamber filled with water that's believed to represent the underworld. Imagine standing there in front of a large stone sarcophagus that's meant to symbolize Osiris's tomb. It's not just a tomb, it's a symbol of his journey through death and his role as the ruler of the afterlife. But why build such a place? Well, one theory is that the Osiris Shaft was a venue for initiation rites. Think of it as a spiritual boot camp where participants would undergo trials, symbolizing death and rebirth, much like Osiris did. These rites weren't just for show. They were believed to impart secret knowledge and bring about a spiritual transformation in the initiates. Some even speculate that the shaft's design was guided by the stars, aligning with celestial bodies that the ancient Egyptians associated with Osiris and the afterlife. It's as if the shaft was a bridge between Earth and the heavens, a physical representation of the soul's journey after death. What's truly fascinating is how the physical structure of the Osiris Shaft and the artifacts found within echo the ancient texts like the Pyramid texts and the Book of the Dead. These texts offer a glimpse into the Egyptian view of the afterlife, complete with references to water, boats, and, yes, the significance of sarcophagi. It's like the shaft is a stone-bound version of these ancient scrolls, a tangible connection to the beliefs and rituals of a civilization long gone. Buried deep within the limestone bedrock, the Osiris Shaft, it's a three-level maze that masterfully blends practicality with a touch of the mystical. Let's dive into what makes the architecture and structure of the Osiris Shaft so fascinating. First off, the way this shaft was designed and built is nothing short of amazing. It shows just how advanced the ancient Egyptians were in their planning and building techniques. The precision with which they carved out these chambers from the bedrock really makes you wonder about their deep understanding of the earth beneath them. At the entrance, you're greeted by a rectangular opening that starts your descent into the depths. This isn't just a hole in the ground, it's a carefully carved vertical shaft dropping down about 10 meters. Imagine the effort it took to remove all that limestone, using tools made from harder stones and metals, and even ropes and wooden scaffolding. It's a testament to their engineering skills. The first chamber you hit is pretty modest. No flashy decorations or treasures, but its simplicity might have been the point. It's like a waiting room or a space for getting ready for something more profound down below, maybe even for some kind of purification rites. But the real intrigue starts when you go deeper to the second level. Here, there's another shaft leading down another 20 meters, and this chamber is a bit more complex. These shafts could have been meant for actual burials, or perhaps as a representation of the journey to the afterlife. The third level is where things get even more dramatic. You go down another shaft, and this time you're 30 meters below the surface. Here lies a large stone sarcophagus, right in the center of the chamber. This isn't just a burial place, it's a symbolic representation of Osiris's tomb. The fact that this chamber is partially filled with water from the natural aquifer adds to the mystique, tying it to themes of rebirth and purification in Egyptian mythology. Graham Hancock is a name that often sparks lively discussions whenever ancient civilizations are mentioned.
There are huge corporations that have very large investments in a particular path of technology. Sure. For somebody to come up with a whole new path of technology, it's very threatening to them.
Known for his captivating books like Fingerprints of the Gods and Magicians of the Gods, Hancock is no stranger to controversy, especially with his theories that challenge the mainstream archaeological narrative. Today, let's dive into how Hancock's unconventional ideas might shed new light on the mysterious Osiris Shaft.
They fell there, something like that.
All of them?
Yeah, all of them.
Many
and
years.
somehow buried themselves under the topsoil.
At the core of Hancock's theories is the tantalizing notion of a lost advanced civilization. This isn't just any civilization, but one that supposedly predates all known history, equipped with knowledge in astronomy, architecture, and mathematics that far exceeds what we'd expect from our ancient ancestors. Hancock might say the Osiris Shaft, with its intricate design and possible astronomical alignments, serves as a kind of time capsule from this sophisticated society. Could it be that this ancient marvel is much older than we think, or that it was built with wisdom handed down from this enigmatic civilization? Hancock's fascination doesn't stop at architecture. He's also keenly interested in how these ancient structures align with the stars. While he hasn't specifically pinpointed the Osiris Shaft in his star maps, it's easy to imagine it fitting neatly into his grand scheme of things. Could the shaft's orientation hint at a connection to celestial events or constellations tied to Osiris and the themes of death and rebirth? Hancock's work suggests that many of Egypt's ancient monuments are part of a larger cosmic blueprint, and the Osiris Shaft might just be another piece of that puzzle. One of the more dramatic elements of Hancock's theories involves global cataclysms, particularly those caused by comet impacts around 12,800 to 11,600 years ago, during what's known as the Younger Dryas. He proposes that these catastrophic events could have wiped out the advanced civilization he theorizes about. So, when we look at the water filling the lower levels of the Osiris Shaft, Hancock might see it as more than just groundwater seepage. He could interpret it as a deliberate nod to the ancient deluges, a symbol of the world-altering floods that his hypothesized civilization endured. Do you think there have been multiple ancient cataclysms?
The Great Pyramid, mostly that's the one that's been studied. We actually haven't done a whole lot of studying on the other pyramids. In fact, we've not even cleared off the bases of some of the other pyramids up at Giza. It's crazy. I mean, there's giant underground networks of tunnels underneath Saqqara, I think underneath Giza, all over Egypt. The Sphinx is not like a built thing, like they carved down into the ground and then they shaped it out of bedrock.
Beneath the sands of the Giza Plateau lies the Osiris Shaft, a mysterious underground structure that baffles archaeologists and captivates history enthusiasts.
They did discover that somewhere underneath the area of the front paws there was a hollow area.
This subterranean marvel, with its intricate architecture and profound symbols, offers glimpses into ancient Egyptian religious and ceremonial practices. The mysteries of the Osiris Shaft invite us to explore its true purpose and the advanced knowledge behind its construction. Known since the late 19th century, the Osiris Shaft initially did not attract much attention from early explorers and Egyptologists, who focused more on the prominent features like the Great Pyramids and the Sphinx. As a less conspicuous feature, it remained largely unexplored until the late 20th century, when systematic exploration began.
So we do know the Sphinx does have hollow areas. It's just the government doesn't want to admit that that's the case.
The turning point came with the work led by the renowned Egyptologist Zahi Hawass in the 1990s. Under his direction, comprehensive exploration of the shaft was undertaken, which unveiled its complex architecture and potential significance in understanding Egyptian religious practices.
The Sphinx is hidden underneath the Sphinx. So can you give us permission to drill?
The exploration of the Osiris Shaft involved the challenging task of removing water that had accumulated in the lower levels, especially the third level, which was partially submerged.
That the water began to rise in front of the Sphinx temple outside.
Modern pumping equipment was employed to drain the water, allowing archaeologists access to the shaft's deepest parts. The detailed examination of the shaft's architecture revealed the engineering skills of ancient Egyptians. It consists of 3 levels, each serving a different purpose, with the lowest level housing a large stone sarcophagus in a chamber filled with water, suggesting a symbolic representation of the underworld. The second level contained 6 burial shafts, though they were found empty, leading to speculation about their original use. This finding was significant in understanding burial practices and the possible ceremonial use of the shaft. Although largely devoid of inscriptions that could provide direct information about its creators or construction dates, the excavation unearthed several artifacts, including pottery shards and fragments of stone vessels, offering some clues about the shaft's age and use. Dating the Osiris Shaft has been challenging due to the lack of inscriptions and the mixed nature of the artifacts found within. However, based on the style of pottery and other items, as well as architectural features, archaeologists suggest that the shaft might date from the New Kingdom period, with some elements possibly being older or reused from earlier periods. The The Osiris Shaft, a mysterious and elaborate underground complex, has sparked intense scholarly debate and speculation due to its unique architectural features and symbolic elements.
It's a subterranean complex, so, it's a very complicated, incredibly enigmatic place.
Scholars and archaeologists have proposed various theories about its purpose, drawing on evidence from Egyptian mythology, religious practices, and archaeological findings. These theories primarily revolve around the shaft's connection to the cult of Osiris, the god of the afterlife, death and rebirth, and its potential use in ancient ceremonial practices. Osiris, one of the most important gods in the ancient Egyptian pantheon, symbolizes the cycle of death and rebirth. The water-filled chamber at the bottom of the Osiris Shaft is believed to symbolize the underworld, or the primordial waters of Nun, from which all life emerged according to Egyptian cosmology. This chamber, especially with its central stone sarcophagus, could represent the tomb of Osiris and the place of his resurrection. The presence of a large stone-carved sarcophagus in the deepest chamber is seen as a direct reference to Osiris's burial. Although empty, this sarcophagus serves as a powerful symbol of Osiris's death and his role in the afterlife, potentially used in rituals emulating his resurrection. One prevalent theory is that the Osiris Shaft was used for initiation rites into the mysteries of Osiris. These rites would have been designed to impart secret knowledge and spiritual rebirth to initiates, mirroring the death and resurrection of Osiris. The descent through the shaft's levels could symbolize the initiate's journey through death to enlightenment and rebirth, with each level representing a stage of spiritual transformation. The shaft may have also been used for rituals celebrating the cyclical nature of life and death, reflecting the agricultural significance of the Nile's flooding and the seasonal growth cycles associated with Osiris. Such rituals could involve the symbolic planting of seeds, water libations, and recitations of hymns and prayers, aiming to ensure the regeneration of life and the fertility of the land. Another speculation ties the Osiris Shaft to ancient Egyptian astronomy, particularly the belief in the stars as the destination of the soul in the afterlife. The orientation and structure of the shaft might have had astronomical significance, aligning with specific stars or constellations believed to be associated with Osiris and the afterlife. While direct archaeological evidence supporting these theories is limited, the design of the Osiris Shaft and the artifacts found within it offer indirect clues. The careful construction of the shaft, the choice of its location near the Sphinx and the Great Pyramid, and the selection of objects placed in the smaller chambers suggest a deliberate attempt to create a sacred space imbued with religious and symbolic meanings. Textual evidence from ancient Egyptian religious texts, such as the Pyramid texts and the Book of the Dead, which contain references to the afterlife and the journey of the soul, provides a contextual backdrop for interpreting the Osiris Shaft. These texts describe the landscape of the afterlife, including the presence of water, boats, and the significance of the sarcophagus, all of which find echoes in the physical structure of the Osiris Shaft. The Osiris Shaft showcases the architectural ingenuity of ancient Egyptian civilization, constructed deep within the limestone bedrock and organized into 3 distinct levels connected by vertical shafts. This site blends the practical with the mystical. Let's explore the architecture and structure of the Osiris Shaft, examining each level's design, construction, and potential significance. The engineering and architectural design of the Osiris Shaft demonstrate advanced planning and knowledge of subterranean construction techniques. The entrance is a rectangular opening, a deliberate design choice marking the beginning of a descent into the earth.
That's the access to the underground area of the Sphinx. The government put it there on purpose.
This opening leads directly to a vertical shaft carved straight down into the limestone, requiring precise control to maintain the shaft's integrity and direction. The shaft descends approximately 10 meters to the first level. The construction of this shaft involved removing tons of limestone using tools made from harder stones, copper, and possibly bronze, as well as ropes and wooden scaffolding for debris removal. The initial chamber at this level is relatively modest in size and devoid of elaborate decorations or significant artifacts. Its simplicity suggests it may have served as an antechamber or a preparatory space for deeper levels, possibly intended for purification or other preliminary rites. A second vertical shaft leads from the first level down an additional 20 meters, indicating a continuation of the journey into the depths. This shaft's construction would have been even more challenging due to the depth and the need to ensure ventilation and structural stability. This more extensive chamber houses 6 burial shafts, which were found empty, hinting at possible looting or a symbolic use. The creation of these shafts within the chamber's floor showcases a complex understanding of space utilization and the cultural importance of burial practices. The empty burial shafts might have been intended for actual interments or served a ceremonial purpose, perhaps symbolizing the passage to the afterlife. Their presence speaks to the shaft's potential role in funerary rites or as a cenotaph. The third and deepest level is accessed via another shaft from the second level, descending around 30 meters below the surface. This final descent marks the culmination of the journey into the underworld, mirroring the mythological descent of Osiris. Dominated by a large stone sarcophagus, this chamber is a dramatic representation of the tomb of Osiris. The partial filling of this chamber with water from the natural aquifer links the Osiris shaft to the mythological themes of rebirth and purification. Water, a symbol of life and regeneration, would have held profound religious significance, enhancing the chamber's sanctity as a representation of Osiris's tomb. Surrounding the central sarcophagus are smaller chambers that contained mummified remains and artifacts. Graham Hancock, a British author known for his unconventional theories about ancient civilizations, has posited several intriguing ideas regarding the Osiris shaft and the broader context of ancient Egyptian monuments.
Is there not a hidden chamber as well?
In fact, there is a whole underworld at Giza. This is beginning to be recognized.
Hancock's work, which spans several books including Fingerprints of the Gods and Magicians of the Gods, often challenges the orthodox archaeological understanding of history. His theories, while controversial among mainstream scholars, have sparked considerable interest and debate among the public and alternative researchers.
I think there's a lot more remains to be discovered under the Giza Plateau.
Yeah.
A central theme in his work is the hypothesis of a lost advanced civilization that predates known history. He suggests that this civilization possessed sophisticated knowledge of astronomy, architecture, and mathematics, which was passed down to later cultures, including the ancient Egyptians.
But remember that the ancient Egyptians tell us in many of their texts that everything they knew was a legacy.
He suggests these events led to significant rises in sea levels and could have been responsible for the demise of the advanced civilization he hypothesizes. The Osiris shaft's lower levels being filled with water could be interpreted within Hancock's framework as symbolic or actual evidence of these cataclysmic events. He might view the water in the shaft as a deliberate reference to the ancient floods and the civilization's knowledge of these cataclysmic events.
Imagine a land where the earth whispers secrets older than time itself. A place where the very ground beneath your feet holds mysteries that could rewrite human history. Welcome to Cappadocia in central Turkey, a region famed for its breathtaking landscapes of pink and yellow-hued hillsides, deep red canyons, and the iconic fairy chimneys, towering stone spires sculpted by millennia of erosion. Yet, as enchanting as the surface is, it's what lies beneath that truly astounds. In 1963, a simple home renovation led to a discovery that would baffle scientists and historians alike. A local man in the Derinkuyu district noticed his chickens were vanishing without a trace. Suspecting they were slipping through a crack in his basement wall, a fissure formed during the renovations, he decided to investigate. Taking a sledgehammer to the wall, he unveiled a hidden room he never knew existed. But that was just the beginning. At the far end of this room, a dark passageway beckoned, descending deep into the earth. What secrets did it hold? Venturing cautiously, he found himself in a labyrinth of tunnels and chambers unlike anything he'd ever seen. Fearful of getting lost in the maze, he retreated and alerted the authorities. What they uncovered was staggering. An underground city plunging over 275 feet into the earth, spanning 18 distinct levels. This was Derinkuyu, a subterranean marvel capable of housing up to 20,000 people. It featured dwellings, meeting halls, schools, temples, stables, wineries, and even cellars for making and storing wine. A 180-foot well provided fresh water, while thousands of ventilation shafts ensured breathable air throughout. Massive stone doors, weighing half a ton, could seal off each level, protecting inhabitants from invaders. Narrow passages forced potential enemies to move in single file, neutralizing their advantage. But who built this colossal underground metropolis, and why? Theories abound. Some suggest the Hittites around 1200 BCE, known for their architectural prowess and artifacts found within the complex. Others point to the Phrygians, accomplished builders of the 8th and 7th centuries BCE, recognized for their rock-cut facades and monumental structures. Yet, without definitive proof, since the volcanic rock can't be carbon-dated, the true architects remain a mystery. Could it be that Derinkuyu is far older than we dare to imagine? The plot thickens. Just a year after Derinkuyu's discovery, workers in nearby Kaimakli uncovered another underground city, equally elaborate and connected to Derinkuyu via tunnels stretching 5 miles beneath the surface. Kaimakli, though not as deep, sprawled extensively with over 100 tunnels, housing dwellings, storage rooms, wineries, stables, and even a burial chamber. Then came Ozkonak, discovered in 1972, featuring unique communication systems between levels and defensive measures like holes above entrances for pouring hot oil on intruders. Each new find hinted at a vast, interconnected network beneath Cappadocia. Was this an underground civilization hiding in plain sight? As years passed, more discoveries emerged. In nearly every village across Cappadocia, rock-cut structures were found underground, most small, a room or two, but collectively indicating a widespread predisposition for subterranean building. Then, in 2012, during urban development in Nevşehir, workers stumbled upon yet another underground complex, even larger than Derinkuyu. Using advanced mapping technology, scientists revealed a city extending over 5 million square feet, descending more than 370 feet into the ground. This was up to 30% bigger than Derinkuyu. And in 2020, hundreds of miles away in Midyat, an even more massive underground city was found, Matiate, potentially 300% larger than Derinkuyu. How could such extensive subterranean networks exist across vast distances? Were they connected? Who were these master builders capable of such monumental feats? One possible clue lies with Göbekli Tepe, an archaeological site in southeastern Turkey that has upended our understanding of ancient history. Discovered in the 1990s, this site boasts megalithic structures dating back to 9600 BCE, predating Stonehenge by millennia. Intricate carvings adorn towering stone pillars up to 18 feet tall and weighing as much as 50 tons, crafted by a civilization we know almost nothing about. The site challenges the notion that organized religion and monumental architecture emerged only after the development of agriculture. Could there be a connection between Göbekli Tepe and the underground cities? Did the same civilization, or their descendants, construct both? Intriguingly, researchers Martin Sweatman and Dimitrios Chikritsis believe that one of Göbekli Tepe's pillars, known as the Vulture Stone, records a comet impact around 10,950 BCE. They propose that the carvings represent constellations and symbolize a catastrophic event, the Younger Dryas, a period of sudden global cooling and environmental upheaval lasting over a millennium. The Vulture Stone, with its animal depictions and abstract symbols, might be an ancient astronomical record marking this disaster. Could the builders of Göbekli Tepe have witnessed such a calamity and immortalized it in stone? More importantly, could the underground cities have been built as shelters against such cataclysms? Delving deeper, ancient Zoroastrian texts tell the tale of Yima, who constructs an underground refuge to survive a devastating winter, a story eerily reminiscent of Noah's Ark but set below ground. The Vendidad, a sacred Zoroastrian scripture, describes how Yima was instructed to build a Var, an underground domain to preserve humanity, animals, and plants from a lethal winter. Is it possible that these legends preserve the memory of real events, motivating ancient peoples to build subterranean sanctuaries? Considering that Zoroastrianism's origins trace back to regions bordering Turkey, could these stories be echoes of an ancient catastrophe that necessitated seeking refuge beneath the earth? If so, this challenges everything we thought we knew about our ancestors. It suggests they possessed advanced engineering skills, astronomical knowledge, and a capacity for large-scale cooperative projects far beyond what we've credited them with. It raises profound questions. Were these underground cities part of a coordinated effort to survive global disasters like the Younger Dryas? How advanced were these ancient societies? What other secrets lie hidden beneath our feet? The inability to carbon date volcanic rock leaves us with tantalizing uncertainties. But perhaps artifacts within these cities, or further archaeological discoveries, will one day provide definitive answers. Until then, the mysteries deepen. Could there be more underground cities yet to be found, stretching even beyond Turkey's borders? Is it possible that a network of subterranean refugees spans continents, built by a civilization lost to history? If you were fascinated by the mysteries we explored today, then you're going to love our next adventure. We're heading deep into the remote, mountainous wilderness of Montana to investigate an imposing megalithic structure known as the Sage Wall. This incredible wall, built from massive polygonal granite blocks, stretches in a perfectly straight line, seemingly defying the natural geological formations of the region. The intricate stacking and precise alignment of these colossal stones have led many to believe that the Sage Wall is not a natural formation, but rather an ancient construction with a mysterious purpose. Join us as we explore the unique features of this enigmatic site, including its straight lines, angular formations, and the perplexing precision of its construction. We'll also discover how the Sage Wall connects with other enigmatic sites throughout Montana, collectively known as the Montana megaliths, and unravel the secrets they hold about the ancient history of this rugged landscape.
It's an insane amount of work. It's not just with the precision, but with the moving of these enormous objects. One of the things that always puzzles me, why? Why do they need to be so precise?
Imagine stumbling upon a hidden chamber beneath your home, leading to an ancient city carved deep within the earth, complete with its own ventilation system and defense mechanisms, an architectural marvel predating Egypt's majestic pyramids. From the labyrinthine complexity of Turkey's Derinkuyu underground city to the symbolic engravings in South Africa's Blombos Cave, our history is dotted with mysterious technologies and constructions that challenge our understanding of ancient human ingenuity. These discoveries not only push the boundaries of what we thought was technologically possible thousands of years ago, but also invite us to rethink the capabilities of our ancestors in the deep past. Blombos Cave, located on the southern coast of South Africa, has become an essential site for understanding early human culture since its discovery in the 1990s by Professor Christopher Henshillwood. The cave's artifacts, which date back about 100,000 years to the Middle Stone Age, offer a glimpse into the ingenuity and artistic sensibility of early humans. Among the notable findings are delicately crafted bone tools, which are some of the earliest known examples of using bone as a material for tool making. The sophistication and finish of these tools indicate a high level of skill and understanding of materials by their creators. In addition to bone tools, engraved ochre pieces were found in the cave, adorned with geometric patterns. These engravings are more than just decorative. They are believed to represent some of the earliest forms of symbolic communication and abstract art, suggesting that cognitive abilities in abstract thought and planning were well developed during this era. Another significant discovery was that of shell beads, which imply a sense of personal adornment and possibly indicate social or ritualistic practices. These beads might have been used in necklaces or bracelets, pointing to an early form of human expression and possibly even a system of currency or social delineation based on adornment. The Blombos Cave artifacts are often cited as evidence of a cognitive revolution, a significant leap in human thinking that may have been driven by genetic mutations affecting brain connectivity, leading to enhanced cognitive capabilities. This shift is thought to reflect a fundamental change in the neurophysiological capacities of humans at the time. Comparatively, the engravings from Blombos Cave and the later, more visually complex and representational Lascaux cave paintings in France, dated to about 17,000 years ago, both underscore a continuity in human artistic endeavors. While the Lascaux paintings are renowned for their visual sophistication, the abstract patterns and use of materials like ochre at Blombos may represent an earlier manifestation of the same cognitive leap toward symbolic thought and communication. Through these discoveries, Blombos Cave provides profound insights into the evolution of human cognition, culture, and social organization, challenging earlier assumptions about prehistoric humans and underscoring the deep roots of human creativity. These findings mark Blombos Cave as a pivotal benchmark for understanding the origins of modern human behavior and artistic expression. Moving from the artistic expressions of ancient South Africa to the architectural marvels of early Turkey, Catalhoyuk emerges as a fascinating site. Discovered in the late 1950s by James Mellart and extensively excavated later by Ian Hodder, this Neolithic New Stone Age settlement is located in south-central Turkey. Dating back approximately 9,500 to 7,700 years ago, Catalhoyuk provides an unparalleled glimpse into early urban life and its complexities, spanning about 32 acres with its intricately built environment. The architectural uniqueness of Catalhoyuk is evident in its mud brick houses, which were accessed via roofs instead of doors, suggesting a highly organized and communal society. The close clustering of these dwellings, where the roof of one building served as a terrace for another, reflects a lack of clear social stratification, unusual for such an early urban development. The settlement's walls boast elaborate frescoes, including detailed depictions of hunting scenes and vultures. These murals, some of the earliest examples of narrative art, offer insights into the community's beliefs, rituals, and the environment around them. Further explorations reveal numerous figurines and shrines within the settlement, underscoring the significant role religion played in daily life. The prominence of female figures and symbols in these findings may indicate matrifocal elements in their social structure. The theoretical perspective that Catalhoyuk might have been an egalitarian society is supported by the uniformity in house size and communal architectural layout. This suggests that Catalhoyuk could have practiced a form of proto-communism long before the concept was formally theorized, with an absence of grandiose tombs or palatial structures pointing to a community where social status was not markedly pronounced. When compared to the slightly later urban developments in Mesopotamia, such as Uruk, Catalhoyuk presents a stark contrast. Unlike Uruk, which displayed distinct social hierarchies through its city layout and monumental architecture like ziggurats, Catalhoyuk's layout suggests a more collective approach to urban living. This comparison provides key insights into how early urban societies could develop and organize themselves in diverse ways. In 1963, a seemingly mundane home renovation in the small town of Derinkuyu, Turkey, turned into a groundbreaking archaeological discovery. A homeowner, while knocking down a wall in his basement to expand the space, inadvertently opened up a passage leading to an extensive network of rooms, tunnels, and chambers buried deep beneath the earth. This was no ordinary find. It was the entrance to what would soon be recognized as the largest underground city in Cappadocia, a region already noted for its unique geological formations and history of subterranean dwellings carved into soft volcanic rock. The discovery revealed that Derinkuyu was not just a series of underground caves, but a complex multi-level city that could descend up to 85 meters, or about 280 feet underground, featuring at least 18 tiers. This massive subterranean complex was equipped to house up to 20,000 people along with their livestock and necessary provisions. The city contained everything from residential quarters and communal spaces to places of worship and educational rooms, demonstrating a highly sophisticated understanding of architectural and engineering principles. Archaeologists who arrived soon after the discovery were astounded by the city's capabilities. Derinkuyu was ingeniously designed with extensive ventilation shafts, ensuring air circulation deep underground, akin to modern air conditioning systems. It also featured enormous stone doors that could be rolled across passageways to secure the city from invasions, operable only from the inside. The narrow tunnels were strategic, forcing potential intruders to enter in single file, which made defending the city more manageable. The engineering marvels of Derinkuyu also included a sophisticated ventilation system that prevented suffocation, even when the underground city was filled to capacity. This level of planning and construction suggests that the builders of Derinkuyu were not only master planners, but also pioneers in early architectural design. The design and defensive capabilities of Derinkuyu often draw comparisons to the legendary labyrinth of Minos, which was said to house the fearsome Minotaur in Greek mythology. Much like the mythological labyrinth, Derinkuyu had a cohesive layout with one main entrance and only a few secret exits, ingeniously designed to confuse and potentially trap unwelcome guests. This architectural similarity highlights the ingenuity of ancient builders and their ability to create secure and self-sustaining environments under the most challenging conditions.
In many ways, it was the mystery of the Sphinx that really broke everything open, brought everything to the public attention.
Now, what we're talking about for the people that are uninformed is the idea that some of the structures in ancient Egypt are far older than conventional wisdom or conventional modern-day archaeology, modern-day Egyptologists. They would like us to believe that all of this spawned from a very specific time period.
Dynastic Egypt, as we know it, going back to about 3000 BC, was really a legacy of what I call now an earlier cycle of civilization. As a geologist with a geological eye, this was not weathered by wind and sand. This was not desert erosion and weathering that I saw on the Sphinx, the body of the Sphinx, which is very difficult to tell because it's been heavily repaired and reworked, but particularly on the walls of what are known as the Sphinx enclosure. The Sphinx enclosure is important because it preserves a lot of the details. And if the audience has not been to Egypt, they should realize that when they carved the Sphinx, it's all solid bedrock. Only the head initially was above the ground surface. They carved down into the rock to free up the body, what I call the core body of the Sphinx.
For centuries, the Great Sphinx of Giza has stood as a silent guardian of Egypt's Giza Plateau, watching over the pyramids and the Nile. Its lion's body and human head have inspired myths, legends, and scholarly debate. But beneath its imposing form lies a deeper enigma. What secrets does the Sphinx hold? And who were the architects behind its creation? The rediscovery of the Sphinx happened long after its original construction. For much of its history, it was almost entirely buried under sand, with only its head visible. In 1817, Italian explorer Captain Giovanni Battista Caviglia led an early excavation, clearing some of the sand to reveal more of the body. Yet, there were no signs of entrances or hidden chambers. The major breakthrough came in the 1920s and 1930s, when French Egyptologist Émile Barrès conducted a more systematic excavation, fully exposing the Sphinx's body. Evidence of subterranean passages led to speculation about what lay beneath this ancient monument. Could this be the legendary Hall of Records, a hidden repository of ancient knowledge? In the 1970s and 1980s, modern technology like ground-penetrating radar and seismographs was used by archaeologists such as Dr. Mark Lehner and John Anthony West. Their findings revealed anomalies, hollow spaces beneath the Sphinx, raising new questions. What were these voids for? Were they ritual chambers, tombs, or something more? These discoveries have sparked the imagination of both scholars and the public. Many speculate about ancient knowledge hidden within these tunnels and chambers which remain largely unexplored. The idea of the Hall of Records, a fabled repository of wisdom from a pre-dynastic civilization, persists, though no solid evidence has confirmed its existence. As for the dimensions of these hidden spaces, some tunnels extend nearly 30 meters, with chambers reaching heights of 5 meters. The complexity and scale of these cavities astonish researchers, as their construction would have required precise engineering to avoid damaging the Sphinx above. Could a civilization over 4,000 years ago really have achieved this with primitive tools? One particularly mysterious feature is a metal hatch discovered on the Sphinx's head during a 20th century restoration. While some believe it's a modern addition for maintenance, others suggest more fantastical possibilities. Was this hatch a secret entry to hidden chambers? Could it be a relic of a lost technology designed by the builders for some unknown purpose? The question remains, who built the Sphinx, and how did they achieve such a perfect blend of form and function? The Sphinx is an impressive 240 feet long, 66 feet high, and 62 feet wide. Carved from a single mass of limestone bedrock, its weight is estimated at 200 tons. Its dimensions are comparable to a modern football field, and its height rivals a 6-story building. Given the rudimentary copper tools available to the ancient Egyptians, this achievement seems almost impossible. While scholars attribute the construction of the Sphinx to Pharaoh Khafre around 2500 BCE, some researchers believe it may be much older. Evidence of water erosion suggests the Sphinx may have been exposed to heavy rainfall centuries ago, dating it to as early as 10,000 BCE. This theory challenges conventional timelines, suggesting the Sphinx was built by an even older, lost civilization. Could the Sphinx have been constructed by a forgotten culture, equipped with knowledge and technology far beyond what we attribute to the Egyptians? The discovery of hidden chambers beneath the monument only adds to this speculation. Were these spaces used to store ancient texts, or perhaps to honor deities through ritualistic practices? Yet, as we uncover more about the Sphinx, the techniques used to build it remain just as mysterious. How did these ancient builders move and shape the enormous stone blocks? Theories abound about the construction methods. It is believed that tens of thousands of laborers worked together, using wooden sledges and water-lubricated sand to transport massive stones across the desert. While modern experiments have shown this method is possible, some argue that a lost technology or unknown knowledge must have been involved. More speculative theories propose that the builders might have used advanced tools or sound resonance to manipulate the stone. The deeper we dig into the mysteries of the Sphinx, the more questions we uncover. But one thing is certain. As we continue to explore the hidden chambers beneath the Sphinx, the story of its creation grows ever more fascinating. History, it seems, is never truly set in stone. New discoveries and secrets lie waiting to be uncovered. Perhaps the greatest mystery of all is not what the Sphinx reveals, but what it continues to keep hidden. In the shadow of the Sphinx, we are left wondering, who built this ancient monument and why? How did they achieve such precision, and what was the true purpose of the Sphinx and its surrounding megastructures? The most common theory is that the Sphinx was commissioned by Pharaoh Khafre, who also built the second largest pyramid on the Giza Plateau. But some evidence calls this theory into question. Water erosion patterns on the Sphinx's body suggest it could be far older, possibly dating back to 10,000 BCE, when Egypt experienced heavier rainfall. If this is true, it would mean the Sphinx predates the Egyptian civilization by thousands of years, suggesting the existence of a forgotten culture. Could this lost civilization have been responsible for building the Sphinx? And if so, why are there no other traces of their presence? These questions fuel conspiracy theories that continue to captivate the imagination. One theory proposes that the Sphinx was built not as a tomb, but as an astronomical observatory. Its alignment with the constellation Leo during the vernal equinox suggests a connection to the stars, possibly serving as a marker of time or even a communication device with other worlds. Another theory suggests that the Sphinx and pyramids were part of an ancient energy system. Some believe the pyramids were energy generators, with the Sphinx acting as a control mechanism. The alignment of these structures with the Earth's magnetic field, combined with their proximity to the Nile, supports this idea. Though no concrete evidence backs this claim, it remains a compelling alternative explanation for their purpose. But the mysteries don't stop there. what other secrets might be hidden beneath the Sphinx? Beneath the Sphinx, unexplored chambers continue to spark speculation. Could these be the fabled Hall of Records? According to legend, this hidden vault contains the lost wisdom of an ancient civilization, possibly Atlantis. Though no one has conclusively discovered it, the search for the Hall of Records continues to intrigue explorers. And then, there are those who believe the Sphinx's builders had help from beyond this world. Extraterrestrial theories surrounding the Sphinx have persisted for decades. Some claim that the precision and scale of its construction are too advanced for the period, suggesting ancient Egyptians had assistance from extraterrestrial visitors. While this remains in the realm of science fiction, it highlights the fascination the Sphinx holds over the human imagination. Yet, even without the intervention of alien hands, the Sphinx and its surrounding pyramids are marvels of engineering. As we stand before the Sphinx, we are left with more questions than answers. What was its true purpose? Who were its builders? And why does it continue to mystify us after thousands of years? And so, the Great Sphinx of Giza remains, watching over the desert, guarding secrets that may never be fully understood. What lies beneath its pores, in hidden chambers, or in the past still waiting to be uncovered? Only time, and perhaps future discoveries, will reveal the answers. Until then, the Sphinx will keep its secrets, waiting patiently for the day when we are ready to understand what it truly has to tell us.
Something drove the builders of the Great Pyramid to go to a very great additional trouble, not only to create this massive, imposing monument, but also to lock it on to true north, and then other things, to incorporate into its dimensions the dimensions of our planet.
The Serapeum of Saqqara is located in the vast Saqqara necropolis, an ancient burial ground about 30 kilometers south of modern-day Cairo, Egypt. This necropolis is renowned for its numerous pyramids, most notably the famous Step Pyramid of Djoser. The Serapeum itself is situated within this expansive complex, specifically nestled in the desert sands to the west of the Pyramid of Djoser. This location is significant due to its proximity to these monumental structures, adding to the historical and cultural richness of the area. The discovery of the Serapeum in 1851 is a fascinating story. It was unearthed by the French Egyptologist Auguste Mariette, who originally traveled to Egypt with the intent of collecting Coptic manuscripts for the Louvre. However, he quickly became captivated by the country's ancient monuments. Mariette's discovery of the Serapeum was rather serendipitous. While exploring the area, he noticed the head of a sphinx protruding from the sand. Intrigued, he began excavating and soon uncovered an entire avenue of sphinxes that led to the underground galleries of the Serapeum. The Serapeum of Saqqara stands as an architectural wonder, nestled within the vast Saqqara necropolis, approximately 30 kilometers south of modern-day Cairo. This ancient burial ground is famous for its numerous pyramids, including the renowned Step Pyramid of Djoser. The Serapeum itself is situated in the desert sands to the west of this iconic pyramid. Designed to house the sacred Apis bulls, revered as manifestations of the god Ptah and later Osiris Apis, the Serapeum consists of an extensive network of underground tunnels and burial chambers. Marking the entrance to the Serapeum is a long avenue lined with sphinx statues, similar in style to those found in Luxor's Avenue of Sphinxes. These sphinxes, believed to have been added during the Ptolemaic period, reflect the blend of Greek and Egyptian cultures. Entering the Serapeum, one would pass through what was once a grand entrance secured by massive stone doors, now removed or destroyed. This entrance demonstrates the Egyptians' ability to manipulate large stone blocks with precision. The removal of these doors has left the tunnels exposed to the elements, making conservation efforts crucial for preserving this historic site. The underground galleries of the Serapeum are its most striking and extensive feature. These galleries, arranged in a rectangular layout with side chambers cut into the rock, extend for several hundred meters. Each side chamber was meticulously designed to house a sarcophagus, reflecting the site's importance through its methodical precision. Hewn from solid limestone bedrock, these galleries showcase immense engineering skill, especially considering the limited tools available at the time. Originally lit by oil lamps or torches, the dim lighting within these galleries adds to their mysterious ambience. Among the most impressive aspects of the Serapeum are the massive sarcophagi housed within its chambers. Each sarcophagus, carved from a single block of stone such as granite, basalt, or limestone, is a marvel of ancient craftsmanship. Some weigh over 70 tons and measure up to 4 meters in length, raising questions about how these enormous stones were transported and positioned within the narrow confines of the underground chambers. The precision of their craftsmanship, with smooth surfaces and accurate dimensions, is comparable to that seen in the construction of the Great Pyramid of Giza, indicating a continuity of advanced engineering skills over centuries. The walls of the Serapeum are richly adorned with hieroglyphic inscriptions and carvings, detailing the burial rites of the Apis bulls and the religious rituals associated with their worship. These inscriptions also mention the pharaohs who ordered the construction of the galleries and the burial of the bulls, providing valuable historical context. The decorations include depictions of gods and goddesses, scenes of offerings, and symbolic motifs like the Ankh, symbolizing life, and the Djed pillar, symbolizing stability. An interesting comparison can be made between the Serapeum of Saqqara and the catacombs of Rome. Both are extensive underground burial complexes, but while the Serapeum was dedicated to the sacred bulls, the catacombs were used for human burials, primarily by early Christians. The construction and transportation of the massive sarcophagi in the Serapeum have long intrigued historians and archaeologists. Several theories have been proposed to explain these feats. One widely accepted theory is that the ancient Egyptians used a system of ramps to transport the massive stone blocks from quarries to the construction site. These ramps could have been straight, zigzagging, or spiral, depending on the terrain and the specific requirements of the project. Another theory suggests that the stones were moved using wooden rollers and sledges. Workers would place the stone blocks on sledges and drag them over a series of logs, lubricated with water or oil to reduce friction. This method is supported by depictions in ancient Egyptian art, showing workers transporting large statues and blocks in this manner. Some researchers believe that lever and pulley systems might have been used to lift and position the sarcophagi within the underground chambers. Though no direct evidence of such devices has been found, the concept aligns with the known mechanical ingenuity of the ancient Egyptians. The most straightforward explanation involves sheer human labor. Teams of workers, possibly numbering in the hundreds, could have coordinated their efforts to move the stones using ropes, sledges, and manual force. Another fascinating structure near the Serapeum is the Step Pyramid of Djoser, an architectural marvel located in the Saqqara necropolis, about 30 kilometers south of modern-day Cairo. Saqqara served as the burial ground for the ancient city of Memphis, the capital of Egypt during the Old Kingdom. The pyramid stands prominently within this vast necropolis, surrounded by numerous tombs and other pyramids, making it a central feature of the area. The Step Pyramid of Djoser was rediscovered in the 19th century by European explorers. However, it was the French Egyptologist Jean-Philippe Lauer who carried out systematic excavation and study beginning in the 1920s. Lauer's extensive research and restoration efforts over several decades significantly enhanced our understanding of the pyramid's construction and historical significance. This pyramid is notable for being the first colossal stone building in Egypt, marking a significant evolution in pyramid construction. Built during the 3rd dynasty for Pharaoh Djoser by his architect Imhotep, who is often credited as the first known architect in history, the pyramid consists of 6 mastaba-like structures stacked on top of each other, each decreasing in size as they ascend, giving it its distinctive stepped appearance. Originally standing approximately 62 meters tall with a base measuring 109 meters by 121 meters, the pyramid has slightly reduced in height over time due to erosion. The core of the pyramid is made from rough, small limestone blocks, while the outer casing was constructed from fine Tura limestone, which gave the pyramid a smooth, bright appearance. This construction represents a significant technological advancement from earlier mud brick mastabas to large-scale stone architecture. Beneath the pyramid lies a vast labyrinth of tunnels and chambers. The central burial chamber, located at the bottom of a 28-meter shaft, was constructed from granite and intended to house the sarcophagus of Pharaoh Djoser. The underground network includes more than 5.5 kilometers of corridors designed to thwart grave robbers, with many passages decorated with blue faience tiles intended to imitate reed matting. Surrounding the pyramid is a massive limestone enclosure wall that measures 10.5 meters high and encloses an area of about 15 hectares. This wall is punctuated by 14 gates, though only one of them is functional. Within the enclosure, there is a large courtyard known as the Heb-Sed Court, used for the Heb-Sed Festival, a jubilee celebration that renewed the king's reign and powers. Adjacent to the north side of the pyramid is the funerary temple, where rituals and offerings were made to honor the deceased pharaoh. A small sealed chamber called a serdab, located near the pyramid's north face, contains a life-sized statue of Djoser, with 2 small holes through which the statue could see the rituals performed in his honor. The Step Pyramid of Djoser is considered the earliest colossal stone structure in Egypt, and the first pyramid ever built, marking a revolutionary leap in architectural techniques. Imhotep, the architect of the pyramid, was later deified as a god of wisdom and medicine, with his contributions to architecture and medicine highly revered in later periods of Egyptian history. The Step Pyramid set the precedent for future pyramid construction in Egypt, influencing the design of smooth-sided pyramids like those found at Giza. The Heb-Sed Court within the mortuary complex was used for a festival that renewed the pharaoh's power, celebrated after 30 years of a king's reign and every 3 years thereafter. The extensive subterranean network and the design of the pyramid itself were aimed at protecting the pharaoh's burial and deterring tomb robbers. Over the years, the pyramid and its complex have undergone extensive restoration efforts, particularly in the 20th and 21st centuries, to preserve this ancient monument for future generations.
Is it possible that some of the monuments of ancient Egypt are actually much older than the Egyptologists tell us?
Now, no modern builder would create a large building and add onto his or her shoulders the additional burden of aligning it to true north within a fraction of a single degree. They just wouldn't get it. They wouldn't understand why it was important to do that.
Droughts often carry a heavy toll on modern economies and ecosystems, yet these challenging times have occasionally peeled back the layers of history to reveal astonishing archaeological finds. One such remarkable discovery is the lost temple of Nectanebo in Egypt. This ancient temple resurfaces periodically as the fluctuating Nile river levels drop during severe droughts, exposing it from beneath the waters where it lay hidden. Located near modern Cairo in the ancient city of Heliopolis, known as Iunu in ancient times, the lost temple of Nectanebo provides crucial insights into the religious and cultural life during the 30th dynasty of Egypt, when Nectanebo Kon ruled from 380 to 362 BC. Heliopolis was not only one of the oldest cities of ancient Egypt, but also a major religious hub, celebrated for its majestic temples and as the center of worship for the sun god Ra. The temple, which is dedicated to the creator god Atum, plays a significant role in understanding the period. Atum was associated with the sun and creation, embodying the cycle of life, which made him a central figure in the religious practices at the time. The temple's strategic location and dedication highlight its immense religious importance. As it periodically emerges from the waters, the temple offers a rare opportunity for historians and archaeologists to explore and document the relics of a time usually hidden beneath the Nile's waters. This occasional visibility not only underscores the temple's archaeological and historical significance, but also highlights the dynamic interaction between natural events and historical discoveries. Now, who was Nectanebo? Nectanebo I is a towering figure in the annals of ancient Egyptian history, celebrated for founding the last dynasty that was purely Egyptian, the 30th dynasty. Before the onslaught of Persian and later Macedonian conquests, his rule from 380 to 362 BC was a pivotal era, marked by a revival of traditional Egyptian culture, ambitious architectural endeavors, and formidable military campaigns. Nectanebo's story begins in the delta region of Egypt in a city called Sebennytos, known today as Samanud. His birth name, which translates to the soul of Re, Lord of Strength. His rise to power was dramatic. Amidst a period riddled with political instability and internal strife, he seized the throne by overthrowing the previous pharaoh, Jedor. This bold move not only marked the end of the 29th dynasty, but also ushered in an era that strongly emphasized a return to Egyptian roots, distancing itself from recent Persian influences. During his reign, Nectanebo was intensely focused on rejuvenating Egypt's economy, and reviving the rich tapestry of traditional religious practices that had been overshadowed during periods of foreign dominance. He was not only a devout builder of temples, but also a generous patron of the arts. Across Egypt, from Heliopolis to Hermopolis, he commissioned the construction and restoration of numerous temples dedicated to various deities, infusing life into these sacred spaces with elaborate decorations and expansive structures. But Nectanebo was not just a peacetime ruler indulging in cultural and religious enhancements. He was also a strategic military leader, actively defending Egypt against Persian attempts to reconquer it. He strengthened the nation's borders with formidable defensive structures, particularly in the Nile Delta, which played a crucial role in repelling invasions. His diplomatic skills were equally noteworthy. He fostered alliances with Greek city-states and employed Greek mercenaries, which not only bolstered his army but also brought Hellenistic cultural influences to Egypt. His extensive building projects were not merely displays of wealth or power, but were deeply embedded with cultural and religious significance, aimed at reinforcing the pharaonic ideology and divine kingship. The artistic renaissance that flourished during his reign saw a surge in high-quality sculpture and temple decorations, which continue to be admired for their craftsmanship. Reflecting on his legacy, Nectanebo left a lasting impact on Egyptian culture and national identity. His efforts to fortify Egypt's independence and his revival of many cultural practices made him a revered figure in later Egyptian memory, often celebrated as the last great native pharaoh before the long period of foreign dominations. Today, artifacts from his reign, such as statues, temple decorations, and coins, continue to offer rich insights into the period's artistic and religious life, and are subjects of intense study by archaeologists and historians around the world. In a broader historical context, Nectanebo could be compared to figures like the Byzantine Emperor Heraclius, who also endeavored to revive religious and cultural traditions in the face of external threats. This parallel underscores a common theme in history, where leaders often turn to cultural and religious revivalism to forge a collective identity during periods of crisis. Now, moving back to the Lost Temple, the discovery of this ancient marvel is as intriguing as its history. The existence of the temple is most commonly brought to light during times of drought when the Nile's water levels significantly recede. For centuries, the temple was hidden from view, submerged under the silt deposited by the Nile's annual floods, which both obscured and preserved it from the ravages of time and human activity. The first clues about the temple's existence came not from visible remains, but from ancient texts and sporadic local folklore. Archaeologists have long used these snippets of information as breadcrumbs, leading them to its periodic rediscovery whenever nature allowed. It was particularly during the major droughts that have affected the Nile in the late 20th and early 21st centuries that the temple ruins were fully exposed, providing a clearer and more comprehensive view of its layout and allowing for detailed archaeological examinations. To study the exposed parts of the temple, archaeologists have employed a variety of sophisticated techniques. Photogrammetry has been used extensively to capture detailed images of the temple's inscriptions and carvings, allowing experts to create accurate 3D models of the site. Additionally, geographic information system technology has played a crucial role in mapping the layout of the ruins in relation to the ancient river channels, offering insights into the historical changes in the landscape that have occurred over millennia. This combination of ancient lore and modern technology illustrates the dynamic way in which archaeologists are working to unravel the mysteries of the past, preserving its wonders for future generations. The Lost Temple of Nectanebo, dedicated to the creator god Atum, also known as Temu, holds a place of great reverence in the annals of Egyptian history. Atum's cult, one of the oldest in Egypt, symbolizes both the completion and the beginning of the life cycle and the sun, casting this temple as a key religious site within the Heliopolitan tradition. The strategic placement of this temple in Heliopolis, the epicenter of worship for the sun god Ra and closely linked to Atum, further weaves it into the grand tapestry of solar worship that was central to ancient Egyptian spirituality. The construction of the temple was an architectural feat, utilizing large sandstone blocks intricately carved with hieroglyphs and religious iconography. This choice of material not only ensured the structure's durability, but also allowed for the detailed and extensive carvings that adorn the temple's walls, which tell tales of divine legends and pharaonic glory. Upon closer examination of the exposed ruins during periods when the Nile's waters recede, archaeologists have unearthed the foundation and lower sections of these massive sandstone walls, alongside several statues of Nectanebo decked in royal attire. These statues poignantly illustrate the pharaoh's aspiration to be seen as a divine entity and offer a window into the art and religious life of his time. The myriad of carvings found on the temple walls also provides invaluable insights into the daily religious practices and societal interactions of ancient Egyptians under Nectanebo's rule. The grandeur of the temple not only underscores the religious complexities of Nectanebo's reign, but also reflects the political power and stability he commanded, as only a prosperous and stable ruler could undertake such an ambitious construction project. However, the intermittent visibility of the temple due to changing Nile water levels presents significant challenges for its conservation. The alternating exposure to air and water not only threatens the preservation of this ancient marvel, but also accelerates the deterioration of the stone and inscriptions. Despite these challenges, each period when the temple surfaces provides a crucial opportunity for further study and preservation efforts. Archaeologists and historians are continually aiming to delve deeper into the temple's structure during these windows, hoping to uncover more artifacts and possibly other structures associated with the temple complex that could shed further light on this historic sanctuary. This ongoing exploration and the efforts to safeguard the temple's integrity ensure that each chapter of its exposure helps piece together more of the past, maintaining a bridge to an era that shaped the foundations of modern civilization.
There's something called the Osiris Shaft.
Beneath the Giza Plateau, near the Great Sphinx and pyramids, lies a mysterious structure that may reshape our understanding of ancient Egypt. Known as the Osiris Shaft, this subterranean complex challenges conventional timelines. Could it predate the pyramids? And what was its true purpose? Recent discoveries and a groundbreaking dating method have led Egyptologists to rethink what they thought they knew about this ancient civilization. The Osiris Shaft descends 35 meters into the bedrock beneath the causeway leading to the Sphinx. It comprises multiple levels, with the lowest chamber housing a granite sarcophagus surrounded by water. This chamber is sometimes referred to as the Tomb of Osiris. But what exactly was this structure intended for? Its purpose remains shrouded in mystery, with no clear answers in sight. One of the most intriguing aspects of the Osiris Shaft is the unusual material used in one of the sarcophagi. Egyptologists discovered a stone unlike anything previously found in Egypt. How did it end up here, deep in the bedrock? Even stranger, the structure itself seems to have been designed without easy access in mind. There are no steps or ladders leading down to its depths. The ones installed now were placed there by modern archaeologists, suggesting that the ancient builders had no intention of facilitating frequent visits. The logistics of moving the massive sarcophagi, some weighing up to 40 tons, further deepen the mystery. How were they lowered with such precision into the shaft, which itself was not designed for easy entry or exit? The precision required to lower these gigantic objects without error suggests a technological ability that we do not fully understand. One sarcophagus found on the second level was particularly remarkable. It was covered in a thin film of bitumen, with a metallic coating beneath it. This metal, containing elements like lead and zinc, is puzzling. Why use a metallic coating inside a sarcophagus? Lead, in particular, raises questions, as it is known today for its use in radiation shielding. Could the ancient Egyptians have been aware of this? Moreover, measurements showed unusually high levels of gamma radiation inside the sarcophagus, further hinting at a function beyond burial. The method used to date one of these sarcophagi, called optical thermoluminescence, measures the last time the stone was exposed to light. The results suggested a date as far back as 3,350 BCE, centuries before the accepted construction dates of the pyramids. This implies that the Osiris Shaft could predate the pyramids and the earliest dynasties of Egypt. What's even more curious is the material of one sarcophagus, dacite, an igneous rock not found anywhere in Egypt. In fact, After consulting with geologists, it was confirmed that there are no significant dacite deposits in Africa large enough to produce a sarcophagus of this size. This means the stone was transported from outside the continent, perhaps from Europe or the Black Sea. The logistics of transporting a 40-ton block of stone across seas and deserts remains a mystery. Why didn't the builders use locally sourced granite or basalt, which would have been far easier to acquire? This discovery challenges long-standing views on ancient Egypt's chronology. The dating method used reveals a time well before the pyramids, offering a glimpse into a distant past. Could the Osiris Shaft represent the work of a forgotten civilization, one whose achievements have been lost to time? As we explore the depths of the shaft, more questions emerge. Was the shaft's design deliberate, meant to preserve the dead using unknown methods? Could the high radiation levels within the sarcophagi have played a role in ancient preservation techniques? The builders of this structure may have known things we have yet to uncover. As archaeologists delve deeper into the Osiris Shaft, they challenge established notions of ancient Egypt. On the third and deepest level, a stone island surrounded by water holds yet another granite sarcophagus. This time, the sarcophagus is made of granite, a material more common in Egyptian structures. However, its location deep underground and surrounded by water raises further questions. This sarcophagus dates to around 2370 BCE, placing it in the Old or Middle Kingdom. Interestingly, the design of the third level seems to be a later addition to the shaft, suggesting the site may have been used and modified over centuries. If true, this means the Osiris Shaft was considered important long before the time of the pyramids. One of the most intriguing features of the third level is the water system. A meticulously shaped canal surrounds the chamber, and the water level appears to be maintained at a precise depth. How did the builders engineer such a system over 100 feet underground? The bedrock in this area is solid, making natural water leaks unlikely. This suggests that the builders tapped into a hidden water source, possibly through an underground channel or spring. At the Osirian, another ancient Egyptian site, similar subterranean water channels have been discovered, indicating that the ancient builders had advanced knowledge of hydroengineering. Water was often seen as a source of life and regeneration, and its presence in the Osiris Shaft may have had symbolic significance in ancient rituals related to death and rebirth. This brings us to the connection between the shaft and Osiris, the Egyptian god of the dead and the underworld. According to myth, Osiris was resurrected in a sarcophagus placed on an island surrounded by water. The third level of the shaft closely mirrors this imagery. Could the builders have been trying to replicate the tomb of Osiris? Or was this part of a deeper religious practice? Oddly, the sarcophagi found in the Osiris Shaft are devoid of inscriptions, which is unusual for ancient Egyptian tombs. This absence of hieroglyphs has led some scholars to suggest that these sarcophagi were not intended for traditional burials, but served a different, perhaps secretive, purpose. Adding to the mystery, researchers detected significant levels of radiation inside the sarcophagi. Combined with the lead coating found on the second level, this suggests that the sarcophagi might have had an advanced preservative function, something we do not yet fully understand. If the ancient Egyptians had knowledge of radiation's effects on preservation, it would represent a technological leap far beyond what we currently attribute to their civilization. Beyond the physical mysteries, the Osiris Shaft raises important questions about the origins of Egyptian civilization. The dating of the second-level sarcophagus to as early as 3350 BCE points to a pre-dynastic origin, making the shaft one of the oldest structures in Egypt. As we continue to investigate the Osiris Shaft, the possibility of discovering hidden chambers, artifacts, or tunnels remains high. The Osiris Shaft is rewriting our understanding of ancient Egypt and perhaps even pointing to a forgotten chapter in human history.
Indian culture is extremely, extremely ancient. We have to accept that civilization in India is at least 5,000 years old. That is one of the mistakes in looking for a quote-unquote advanced civilization in the past, is that we tend to be looking for ourselves. Whereas it's possible for a civilization to be advanced in other ways.
Could the astonishing Kailasa Temple at the Ellora Caves, carved meticulously from a single massive rock, truly be the work of mere mortal hands?
There is a particular seal that has survived, and it shows a figure which is recognizable as the god Shiva.
This ancient architectural marvel, built in the 8th century under the patronage of King Krishna of the Rashtrakuta dynasty, stands as a monument not only to devotion and artistry, but also to an engineering prowess that seems almost superhuman.
I think we're confronted by an enormous mystery with megalithic sites all around the world, and we don't understand them properly.
With its elaborate carvings and grand scale, the Kailasa Temple has sparked a captivating debate. Was this colossal structure really constructed using primitive tools of the age, or does it bear evidence of intervention by an advanced civilization, possibly beyond our earthly realm?
Some people think that the answer is extraterrestrial visitors. I don't think that's the answer, but who knows?
Tucked away in the basaltic hills of Maharashtra, the Ellora Caves complex is an architectural marvel of ancient India. Spanning from 600 to 1000 AD, these caves house a remarkable blend of Buddhist, Hindu, and Jain heritage. Among them, Cave 16, better known as the Kailasa Temple, stands out as the crowning glory of the site. Historically referred to as Veral, the area's location along ancient north-south trade routes undoubtedly played a critical role in its development. The Kailasa Temple, known for being the largest monolithic rock excavation in the world, showcases the advanced state of engineering and architectural skills during the 8th century. This temple was not built but rather carved top-down from a single massive rock, requiring meticulous planning and execution that speaks volumes about the capabilities of its creators.
There are unexplained issues in our past, which are presently not explained by the system that teaches us about the past.
Under the patronage of King Krishna I of the Rashtrakuta dynasty, the temple was commissioned around the mid-8th century. King Krishna I, also known as Krishna Rajanam, embarked on this ambitious project to emulate the sacred Mount Kailash, the mythological abode of Lord Shiva. The temple not only served as a place of worship, but also as a demonstration of the power and artistic aspiration of the Rashtrakutas. During a period of British colonial expansion in India, British officers often ventured on expeditions for leisure and exploration. It was during one such excursion that the lush, overgrown vegetation of the Maharashtra region, which had concealed the Ellora Caves for centuries, finally gave way to one of the most significant archaeological discoveries in India.
A lot of archaeology that gets done doesn't get done because of a targeted search.
The year was 1819, and the caves, untouched and perfectly preserved as if in a time capsule, were stumbled upon accidentally by Captain John Smith and his party. The discovery by Captain Smith wasn't merely about uncovering a lost site, it was a revelation that peeled back the layers of India's rich and ancient civilization, which had thrived long before European powers set foot in the region. As Smith entered the caves, he was confronted with the grandeur of India's past, an intact cultural heritage that spoke volumes of its historical depth and complexity. However, Captain Smith left behind more than just the memory of his discovery. In what is now viewed as an act of historical vandalism, he inscribed his name and the date on a pillar inside Cave 10. At the time, such actions were common among explorers, who often left their marks as records of their presence. This graffiti, though frowned upon today, provided a tangible record marking the European discovery of the site and has since become a point of contention in discussions about heritage preservation versus the historical markers of colonial exploration. Following this accidental discovery, there was a renewed interest in the Ellora Caves, leading to more systematic explorations and excavations. The Archaeological Survey of India, established in 1861, took on the mammoth task of excavating and preserving these ancient sites. Their efforts were crucial in maintaining the structural integrity and historical accuracy of the caves as they faced the dual pressures of time and increasing tourism. Detailed studies and documentation efforts were spearheaded by early explorers and scholars like James Burgess and later Ghulam Yazdani. Their meticulous work in cataloguing the sculptures, iconography, and architectural styles has been compiled into extensive reports and books, which remain invaluable resources for Indological studies today. This comprehensive documentation helps ensure that the Ellora caves, including the magnificent Kailasa Temple, continue to be understood and appreciated not just as monuments, but as gateways to India's illustrious past. The Kailasa Temple, also known as Cave 16 at the Ellora Caves, truly stands as a testament to the ancient mastery of rock-cut architecture. This stunning structure isn't just a testament to grandeur, but also to a unique construction methodology that melds religious devotion with unmatched craftsmanship. Unlike traditional buildings constructed from the ground up, this temple was carved directly out of a single massive rock, a process that required not only extreme labor but also precise planning. The effort to remove approximately 200,000 tons of rock from the site underscores the monumental human endeavor that went into its creation, likely involving hundreds, if not thousands, of laborers across several generations.
Ancient cultures all around the world preserved a memory of a high civilization, of prehistory.
Symbolically, the temple mirrors Mount Kailasa, the mythical abode of Lord Shiva, suggesting that the architects intended to create a heavenly abode on earth. This ambition is evident not just in the temple's scale, but also in its elaborate multi-storied design, which features a rare vertical expansion in rock-cut architecture. Each floor is intricately adorned with carvings and statues that bring to life stories from Hindu mythology, especially those focusing on Lord Shiva, enhancing both the religious and aesthetic appeal of the temple. Comparing the Kailasa Temple to the ancient city of Petra in Jordan highlights its unique features. While Petra is renowned for its impressive facades carved into rock faces, the Kailasa Temple goes a step further. It is not just a facade, but a complete excavation, with intricate vertical carvings that make its interiors as spectacular as its exteriors. Unlike Petra's relatively plain interiors, the Kailasa Temple is elaborately detailed, with entire floors, columns, and ceilings that are ornately decorated to reflect Hindu religious themes. The engineering behind the Kailasa Temple also addresses some significant challenges, such as maintaining structural integrity while removing massive volumes of rock. The architects and engineers employed their deep understanding of geology and engineering to ensure the stability and durability of the remaining structures. They even incorporated an ingenious drainage system to prevent water accumulation and erosion during the region's heavy monsoon seasons. Moreover, strategic placements of openings and alignments within the temple structure allow natural light to flood its interiors, enhancing the spiritual and aesthetic experience for visitors. The layout also facilitates the circulation of air and movement of devotees, crucial during religious ceremonies. These intriguing aspects of the Kailasa Temple, combined with the mysteries surrounding its construction, have fueled various theories about its origins and the techniques used in its elaborate design. From theories suggesting extraterrestrial influence to speculations about advanced ancient technologies or a network of secret chambers, the temple continues to be a subject of fascination and scholarly debate.
I think the dating of quite a number of megalithic sites needs to be reconsidered.
These discussions not only celebrate the architectural genius of the temple's creators, but also deepen our appreciation for this ancient marvel. Exploring the mysteries of the Kailasa Temple at a more refined level reveals a range of fascinating theories that try to explain its incredible construction. One such theory suggests that the technology and precision required for its creation in the 8th century might hint at extraterrestrial influence or the use of advanced ancient technology that has since been lost. While this idea captivates the imagination, most scholars and archaeologists believe that the temple's construction was well within the capabilities of human ingenuity at the time, pointing to similar rock-cutting techniques used across India long before the temple was built. Another intriguing theory about the Kailasa Temple involves the possibility of a network of secret tunnels and chambers beneath the complex. Local legends and some speculative reports suggest that these could have served as passages for religious ceremonies or as escape routes during invasions. However, thorough archaeological investigations have yet to confirm these claims, and the natural rocky terrain of the area makes such an extensive network rather unlikely. The alignment of the Kailasa Temple with celestial bodies forms yet another theory. Some believe that the temple, like many ancient structures, was designed in alignment with certain stars or planets to harness cosmic energies during significant astronomical events, such as solstices and equinoxes. While there are notable celestial alignments at other ancient sites that lend some support to this theory, concrete evidence linking the Kailasa Temple's orientation with celestial events remains elusive. As these theories continue to pique curiosity and scholarly debate, the significance of preserving such a monumental site has never been clearer. Recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, the Ellora Caves, including the Kailasa Temple, are the focus of ongoing preservation efforts. These efforts are crucial in protecting the site's intricate carvings and magnificent structures from both natural elements and the impacts of modern-day tourism, ensuring that this ancient marvel can be appreciated for generations to come.
You know, the Sphinx is described as a gateway. Like, there is a lot of legitimate reasons to think that there's something below that structure. They had gone in under the Sphinx and looked at chambers, and they found chambers beneath the Sphinx. Like, they 100% found chambers beneath the Sphinx. In the Sphinx temple, when you go in there, there is indeed evidence for shafts that go down. I think if there are chambers down there, and if there's anything in them, or there was, it's long gone.
Did you know about the mysterious Osiris Shaft hidden within the Giza Plateau? This fascinating archaeological site, often overshadowed by the grandeur of the Great Pyramids and the Sphinx, harbors secrets of ancient Egyptian civilization. Though known since the late 19th century, it remained largely ignored as explorers focused on more prominent monuments. But the Osiris Shaft has its own story, one that has gradually unfolded over time. It wasn't until the 1990s that the Osiris Shaft began to receive the attention it deserved, thanks to the efforts of Zahi Hawass, a name familiar to many.
He's documented the fact that Zahi's been enabling kind of secret expeditions digging and drilling around the Sphinx since the 1970s.
Under his direction, a thorough exploration was undertaken, revealing the shaft's complex architecture and its connection to ancient Egyptian religious thought. However, accessing the deepest parts of the Osiris Shaft wasn't easy. The team had to overcome the significant challenge of draining the water that had flooded its lower levels, particularly the third level, which was partially submerged.
The same story of a great flood, which brought a former age of the world to an end.
The effort required to bring in modern equipment and remove the water was immense, but it was crucial to unveiling the shaft's hidden secrets. The Osiris Shaft, with its 3 levels descending deep into the earth, turned out to be a remarkable puzzle of architecture, burial customs, and hidden treasures. The design itself is a marvel of ancient engineering, with each level serving a unique purpose. At the bottom, a large stone sarcophagus rests in a chamber partially filled with water, evoking the ancient Egyptian underworld. It's as if the Egyptians constructed their version of the afterlife deep within the Giza Plateau. The second level, with its 6 empty burial shafts, adds to the mystery. Were they looted, or were they never intended to hold anything? This level offers insights into burial practices and rituals, though some aspects remain unclear. Despite the absence of inscriptions that could pinpoint who built the shaft and when, the artifacts discovered within, pottery shards, fragments of stone vessels, and other small items, suggest the Osiris Shaft dates back to the New Kingdom period. These artifacts provide valuable clues, helping researchers piece together the history of this incredible structure. One of the most poignant discoveries was the mummified remains found in the smaller chambers surrounding the central sarcophagus. These remains offer a rare glimpse into the lives of ancient Egyptians, revealing details about their diets, lifestyles, and perhaps even their deaths. Let's take a moment to talk about Osiris, the ancient Egyptian god of the afterlife, death, and rebirth. According to mythology, Osiris was betrayed by his brother Set, leading to a story of death, dismemberment, and resurrection that reads like an ancient epic. His wife, Isis, reassembled him and brought him back to life, making Osiris a symbol of the eternal cycle of life, death, and rebirth. The Osiris Shaft is thought to be a 3-dimensional tribute to this epic tale.
But over here we have the god Osiris from Egypt, remembered by the ancient Egyptians as a bringer of the gifts of civilization.
At the shaft's deepest point, there's a chamber filled with water, believed to represent the underworld. Standing before the large stone sarcophagus, which symbolizes Osiris's tomb, one can almost feel the connection to his journey through death and his role as ruler of the afterlife. But why was such a place built? One theory is that the Osiris Shaft served as a site for initiation rites, a kind of spiritual boot camp where participants underwent trials symbolizing death and rebirth, mirroring Osiris's experiences. These rites were believed to impart secret knowledge and bring about a spiritual transformation in the initiates. Some even speculate that the shaft's design was influenced by the stars, aligning with celestial bodies associated with Osiris and the afterlife. The shaft may have been a bridge between earth and the heavens, representing the soul's journey after death. What's truly fascinating is how the structure of the Osiris Shaft and the artifacts found within echo ancient texts like the Pyramid texts and the Book of the Dead. These texts offer a window into the Egyptian view of the afterlife, complete with references to water, boats, and the importance of sarcophagi. The shaft can be seen as a stone-bound version of these ancient scrolls, a tangible connection to the beliefs and rituals of a long-lost civilization. Buried deep within the limestone bedrock, the Osiris Shaft is a three-level labyrinth that masterfully combines practicality with a touch of the mystical. Let's explore what makes the architecture of the Osiris Shaft so intriguing. The design and construction of the shaft are nothing short of remarkable, showcasing the advanced planning and building techniques of the ancient Egyptians. The precision with which they carved out these chambers from the bedrock reflects their deep understanding of the earth beneath them. The entrance to the shaft is marked by a rectangular opening that leads to a vertical drop of about 10 meters. This isn't just a hole in the ground, it's a carefully crafted vertical shaft, requiring the removal of large amounts of limestone using tools made from harder stones and metals, ropes, and wooden scaffolding. This feat of engineering is a testament to the skills of the ancient builders. The first chamber encountered is modest, devoid of decorations or treasures. Its simplicity might have been intentional, serving as a waiting room or a space for preparing for something more profound deeper within, possibly purification rites. The real intrigue begins at the second level, where another shaft descends another 20 meters. This chamber is more complex, containing 6 empty burial shafts that have sparked much speculation. Were they looted, or were they always meant to be symbolic? These shafts could have been used for actual burials, or perhaps represented the journey to the afterlife. The third level is the most dramatic. Descending yet another shaft, now 30 meters below the surface, you find a large stone sarcophagus at the chamber's center. This chamber, partially filled with water from the natural aquifer, isn't just a burial place. It symbolizes Osiris's tomb, tying into themes of rebirth and purification in Egyptian mythology. Graham Hancock is a name that often sparks lively discussions about ancient civilizations. Known for his books like Fingerprints of the Gods and Magicians of the Gods, Hancock's theories often challenge mainstream archaeological narratives. Let's consider how Hancock's unconventional ideas might offer new insights into the mysterious Osiris Shaft.
I think there's a lot more remains to be discovered under the Giza Plateau.
Yeah. Hancock's theories often revolve around the idea of a lost advanced civilization, one that predates known history and possessed advanced knowledge of astronomy, architecture, and mathematics.
I believe that it's worth considering the possibility of a remote common ancestor, which passed down key information that was inherited by later cultures.
Hancock might suggest that the Osiris Shaft, with its intricate design and possible astronomical alignments, serves as a time capsule from this sophisticated society. Could this ancient marvel be older than we think, or was it built with knowledge handed down from this enigmatic civilization? Hancock is also fascinated by how ancient structures align with the stars. While he hasn't specifically identified the Osiris Shaft in his star maps, it's easy to imagine it fitting into his broader theories. Could the shaft's orientation indicate a connection to celestial events or constellations associated with Osiris and themes of death and rebirth?
That is who Osiris is. His image is seen in the sky as the constellation of Orion.
Hancock's work suggests that many of Egypt's ancient monuments are part of a larger cosmic blueprint, with the Osiris Shaft possibly being another piece of that puzzle. One of the more dramatic aspects of Hancock's theories involves global cataclysms, particularly those caused by comet impacts during the Younger Dryas period, around 12,800 to 11,600 years ago. He proposes that these catastrophic events might have wiped out the advanced civilization he theorizes about. When we look at the water in the lower levels of the Osiris Shaft, Hancock might see it as more than just groundwater seepage. He could interpret it as a symbol of the world-altering floods his hypothesized civilization endured. Do you believe in the possibility of multiple ancient cataclysms?
This is quite a famous phenomenon in Turkey, that there are huge cities. They look like ant farms on an enormous scale that are dug out under the earth. Hundreds and hundreds of rooms, that huge efforts was put into digging deep beneath the earth and creating these shelters.
Nestled in the heart of Turkey's enchanting Cappadocia region lies Derinkuyu, an ancient underground city that stands as a monument to the ingenuity and resilience of bygone civilizations. Its fascinating origins, complex construction, and versatile uses offer a glimpse into a community that sought refuge beneath the Earth's surface, crafting a hidden world of remarkable depth and complexity.
And archaeology does not have a good explanation about what they're there for, or why they were built, or when they were built. They're all cut out of stone. You can only date objects that were left in them. You can't say when they were actually made.
The story of Derinkuyu begins in the 8th–7th centuries BCE, with the Phrygians, an Indo-European people renowned for their architectural skills, laying its foundation. What likely started as a modest subterranean enclave was expanded by successive cultures, each adding layers of depth and function to this architectural marvel. Notably, in the 2nd and 3rd centuries AD, early Christians seeking sanctuary from Roman persecution carved out additional living quarters, worship spaces, and communal areas.
They were used by Christians, they were used by Muslims, they were used back in 2,000 plus years ago as homes in some cases.
The construction of Derinkuyu was no small feat. It involved the excavation of approximately 2.5 million cubic meters of volcanic rock, known as tuff, which is soft enough to carve but hardens when exposed to air, ensuring stability for the city's expansive underground structures. Derinkuyu's purpose extended far beyond a mere hideout. It was a bastion during invasions and conflicts in the strategically significant region of Cappadocia.
What makes sense of those underground cities to me is that they were built as places of refuge that people could go into during an episode of meteor bombardment during the Younger Dryas.
Beyond serving as a refuge, it also offered a complete underground living environment with water wells, food storage, livestock pens, and even a prison.
They're fine. They have air vents, they have water, they're incredibly well thought out.
Its intricate layout supported a vibrant community life, with residential areas, communal kitchens, and places of worship, reflecting a society capable of sophisticated urban planning and social organization. The city's capacity to house up to 20,000 people, coupled with its advanced infrastructure, including an extensive ventilation system and a complex water distribution network, speaks volumes about the ancient world's architectural and engineering prowess.
I spent hours down there just wandering around and looking at this amazing place.
Of particular note is Derinkuyu's significance to early Christians who found not just a safe haven, but a spiritual sanctuary within its depths. The numerous chapels and churches adorned with religious symbols and bas-reliefs provided a focal point for community and faith, underscoring the city's importance as a religious retreat. Derinkuyu, an underground world equivalent to an 18-story building below the Earth's surface. This ancient city, carved deep into the earth to a depth of around 200 feet, provided a year-round comfortable living environment. Thanks to its cooler and more stable temperatures, it's fascinating to think about how it was designed to house up to 20,000 people, along with their livestock and possessions, showcasing an incredibly organized society, adept at managing life's necessities in such a confined yet complex space. With at least 18 levels, Derinkuyu was more than just a series of tunnels. It was a fully functioning underground metropolis. The city was meticulously organized into residential areas, communal spaces, and even sectors for livestock, indicating a society that valued structure and community. The intricate layout ensured that despite being underground, movement within the city was fluid, The city's innovative ventilation system is nothing short of remarkable. Thousands of shafts ensured that fresh air reached the deepest levels, a feat that underscores an advanced understanding of environmental control and airflow. This system was crucial for not only providing fresh air, but also for dispersing smoke from cooking and lighting, maintaining air quality for the large population residing within. But perhaps what stands out most about Derinkuyu are its defensive features. Massive stone doors could be rolled across passages to seal off the city, transforming it into a fortress at a moment's notice. The corridors, intentionally narrow, were designed to thwart large groups of invaders, allowing defenders to control movement throughout the city effectively. Moreover, the hidden entrances and exits, some connected to the surface by miles-long tunnels, speak volumes about the strategic planning that went into safeguarding the city. These secret passages allowed for stealthy entrances and exits, crucial for gathering intelligence or making escapes during sieges. Despite the extensive exploration that has peeled back some of its layers, Derinkuyu keeps parts of itself hidden, teasing the imagination with what lies in its uncharted depths. While we've uncovered much, there's still a vast expanse that remains out of reach. Safety concerns and the potential risk of collapse have kept certain sections off-limits, sparking a wildfire of speculation and theories about the full scale of this underground labyrinth. Could there be entire levels we've yet to discover, or hidden rooms filled with ancient artifacts waiting to tell their part of Derinkuyu's tale? The lore surrounding Derinkuyu and its sister cities in Cappadocia weaves a rich tapestry of tales that blur the lines between history and legend. Stories of a vast network of tunnels connecting the underground cities suggest a sophisticated system used for trade, communication, or even as escape routes from invaders.
The two that I visited in the series are Derinkuyu and Kaimakli, and these two sites are joined by an 8-kilometer tunnel underground.
While some of these tunnels have been confirmed, the full extent of this network fuels the imagination about the capabilities of ancient civilizations. Speculation about Derinkuyu's past ventures into the realms of the extraordinary, with some suggesting it might have been a refugee for extraterrestrial visitors or a remnant of a lost advanced civilization. Although such theories stretch beyond the bounds of established archaeological evidence, they underscore the fascination Derinkuyu incites, reflecting the human penchant for mystery and the unexplained. Derinkuyu is a hidden gem that tells a tale of human resilience, architectural mastery, and the intricate history of Anatolia. This ancient underground city, a sanctuary carved from the earth, speaks volumes about the lengths to which people will go to protect their beliefs, their culture, and their way of life. Imagine a time between the 1st and 3rd centuries AD when early Christians facing relentless persecution from the Roman Empire sought refuge beneath the earth's surface. Derinkuyu became their sanctuary, a place where they could practice their faith in secret away from the oppressive gaze of Roman authorities. Within this subterranean haven, they carved out chapels and churches, adorning them with frescoes that depicted scenes from the Bible and Christian iconography, creating a space that was not just about survival, but about preserving their spiritual and cultural identity. But Derinkuyu was not an isolated refuge, it was part of a vast network of underground cities in Cappadocia, connected by miles of tunnels. These connections weren't just for escape or hiding, they represented a sophisticated system for trade, communication, and strategic movement, highlighting an advanced level of social organization and urban planning in ancient Cappadocia. This network of cities underlines the region's significance as a cultural and economic hub, showcasing the ingenuity of its people in creating a cohesive and cooperative community. The modern rediscovery of Derinkuyu is as fascinating as its history. In 1963, a local stumbled upon a mysterious room behind a wall in his home, unveiling the entrance to this ancient city. This discovery captured the imagination of historians, archaeologists, and the wider public, leading to the exploration of the city and its eventual opening to tourists. Today, Derinkuyu is not just an archaeological site, it's a major tourist attraction that draws people from all over the world eager to explore its ancient passageways, chapels, and the incredible engineering behind its construction. Derinkuyu's significance has been recognized on a global scale, as it, along with other sites in the Cappadocia region, has been designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site. This honor speaks to its value to humanity, preserving its history and architecture for future generations. The city stands as a symbol of what humans are capable of achieving when faced with existential threats, creating safe havens of remarkable complexity and beauty. Beyond its historical and architectural value, Derinkuyu serves as an educational resource, offering insights into ancient construction techniques, community living, and survival strategies. It continues to inspire and educate, reminding us of the depths of human ingenuity and the enduring spirit of communities that have faced adversity throughout history.
This is one of the things that, the archaeologists and the prehistorians, people are looking at that, have failed to take into account. Now, within there could be all kinds of stuff that's not even recognized as being artificial in the sense that humans had anything to do with it.
Tucked away in the heart of the Great Pyramid of Giza lies the King's Chamber, a marvel of ancient Egyptian architecture that continues to fascinate historians and visitors alike.
If you look at the famous King's Chamber, its walls and its ceiling of the King's Chamber are all made with gigantic granite blocks.
Imagine walking through the Grand Gallery, a corridor stretching 47 meters long and rising 8.6 meters high to reach this iconic chamber. This journey alone, through such an expansive space within the solid stone of the pyramid, showcases the incredible skill of ancient Egyptian builders.
Now, Egyptologists will tell you that, they could move heavy blocks because they put them on wet sand and they push them along on wet sand. Well, maybe if you're just at ground level, that will do. But when you're 350 feet above the ground, as you are in the King's Chamber, that won't do at all.
The King's Chamber itself is a testament to the Egyptians' advanced understanding of materials and construction techniques. Carved from red granite brought all the way from Aswan, over 800 kilometers away, the chamber's very walls speak of a civilization capable of monumental feats of logistics and engineering. The room's dimensions, about 10.47 meters by 5.234 meters and 5.974 meters high, are thought to be imbued with symbolic meaning, perhaps aligning with celestial or pharaonic principles.
If we're only looking for a mere reflection of ourselves, we could overlook it completely. I think we're getting very close to rediscovering some of the things that our ancient ancestors were up to.
At the chamber's center lies a red granite sarcophagus, believed to be the intended resting place of Pharaoh Khufu, though intriguingly, no human remains have ever been discovered within it. The sarcophagus bears marks of damage and wear, silent witnesses to the millennia that have passed since its creation. Its very presence in the chamber, given its size, suggests it was placed there during the construction of the room, hinting at the meticulous planning that went into the pyramid's design. Above the chamber, an ingenious system of 5 relieving chambers helps distribute the weight of the pyramid, protecting the space below. This feature highlights the ancient builders' sophisticated understanding of structural integrity. Additionally, the chamber is equipped with 2 narrow shafts extending to the pyramid's exterior. Initially thought to be for ventilation, these shafts are now believed to possibly serve a more symbolic purpose, possibly aligning with stars or celestial phenomena significant to Khufu's journey in the afterlife. Step into the heart of the Great Pyramid of Giza, and you'll find yourself in the Grand Gallery, an awe-inspiring testament to the ancient Egyptians' architectural genius.
I don't know how they did it. All I know is they did it. I don't think anybody knows how they did it, how they lifted those stones, how they brought them up to that level. I think we're looking, again, at a lost technology.
This corridor is not just a path to the King's Chamber. It's a showcase of ancient ingenuity and a symbol of the civilization's advanced engineering capabilities. Imagine walking through this grand space, with walls that narrow as you look upwards, thanks to the sophisticated corbelling technique used in its construction. This method, where each layer of stone slightly overhangs the one below, creates a dramatic narrowing effect towards the ceiling. It's a clear sign of the Egyptians' mastery in using architecture not only for structural stability, but also to inspire awe. The materials themselves, limestone blocks for the walls and heavier stones for the ceiling, were chosen with care, ensuring the gallery could bear the immense weight of the pyramid above. The Grand Gallery served a crucial role as the gateway to the King's Chamber, possibly designed to awe and inspire those who walked its length. But its purpose might have extended beyond mere access. Some scholars suggest it played a part in the pharaoh's funeral procession or other rituals connected to the afterlife journey. Features like the Great Step, a massive stone at the gallery's end, and various slots and holes along its walls hint at a space designed for more than simple passage, possibly aiding in the construction of the chamber. Moving on to another fascinating marvel of the pyramid, the Queen's Chamber. It holds mysteries that have puzzled scholars and enthusiasts for centuries. Despite its regal name, it's widely believed that this chamber was never intended as a final resting place for a queen. The lack of any burial artifacts and its distinctive features have sparked endless speculation about its true purpose. Positioned centrally within the pyramid, yet at a lower elevation compared to the majestic King's Chamber, the Queen's Chamber offers its own unique allure. Imagine venturing about 20 meters above the ground level through a corridor extending from the Grand Gallery to discover this intriguing space. Its dimensions create an unexpectedly spacious environment, with a pointed roof reaching up towards the pyramid's core, adding to the chamber's grandeur. One of the chamber's most striking features is a large niche in the eastern wall. Standing about 4.6 meters high, this vertical recess has baffled many. Was it intended for a statue serving a symbolic or ritualistic purpose, or does it hold a deeper meaning related to the pharaoh's journey in the afterlife? The construction technique of the chamber's roof, using corbelled layers of stone that create an inverted V-shape, mirrors the design seen in the King's Chamber, suggesting a deliberate architectural choice to ensure stability and perhaps to bear symbolic weight. Theories about the chamber's purpose are as varied as they are fascinating. Some suggest it was used for rituals related to the pharaoh's rebirth or regeneration, with the niche possibly housing a statue or symbolic object. Others propose that its location and design might reflect ancient Egyptian cosmological beliefs or serve a more mundane purpose, like distributing the pyramid's weight or housing a statue of the deceased in a serdab-like arrangement. Recent technological advances have opened new doors in understanding the Queen's Chamber. Non-invasive techniques like infrared thermography and muon radiography have been employed to peek behind the chamber's walls, searching for unknown cavities or clues to its construction and purpose. Within the Great Pyramids lays another mystery. Its air shafts and the subterranean chamber, features as fascinating as they are puzzling. The air shafts, narrow corridors carved into the stone, stretch from the King's and Queen's chambers to the pyramid's exterior. These aren't your average architectural elements. Their design, discovery, and speculated purposes are a treasure trove of intrigue and speculation. First off, these air shafts are tiny, just about 20 by 20 centimeters, too narrow for any human to pass through. They zigzag with precision towards the heavens, pointing to specific regions in the sky that held great significance in ancient Egyptian cosmology. Discovered in 1872 by the engineer Wayman Dixon, the shafts from the Queen's Chamber were a late find in the pyramid's history, adding layers to the mystery surrounding this ancient wonder. Originally thought to ventilate the chambers, this idea doesn't hold up for the Queen's Chamber shafts, which don't quite reach the exterior. Instead, the prevailing theories are far more mystical. Some believe these shafts were aligned with stars or constellations like Orion and Sirius, linking the pharaoh with the gods of the afterlife. The intrigue doesn't end there. With modern tech, robotic cameras probe these shafts, uncovering doors and chambers within, deepening the mystery. What were these ancient engineers up to? The plot thickens with the subterranean chamber, a rough-hewn space carved into the bedrock. Unlike the finished elegance of the pyramid's upper chambers, this one's all raw edges and mystery, suggesting it was abandoned mid-construction. Was it intended as Khufu's original tomb, a symbolic underworld, or something more practical like a flood defense? Theories abound, but no one's quite cracked the code. This chamber's unfinished nature has led to all sorts of speculation about its purpose and why it was left incomplete. Imagine stumbling upon a hidden chamber within one of the world's oldest and most mysterious monuments. That's exactly what happened when scientists discovered the Big Void, a revelation that's as thrilling as it is mystifying. The key to uncovering the Big Void was muon radiography, a fancy term for a technique that uses naturally occurring particles called muons, which rain down from the Earth's atmosphere. These particles have the unique ability to penetrate solid stone, providing a way to peek inside the pyramid without drilling or causing damage. By detecting variations in muon density, scientists can identify empty spaces, like our newly found void. This discovery was the result of international teamwork, part of the Scan Pyramids project, which brought together experts from around the globe to explore the pyramid's innermost secrets. So, what do we know about the Big Void? Well, it's situated above the Grand Gallery, a known cavity within the pyramid, and stretches for at least 30 meters, roughly the length of the gallery below. Its size suggests it was a significant part of the pyramid's design, but its purpose remains a tantalizing mystery. Was it intended to relieve weight from the Grand Gallery below, a hidden chamber for ceremonies, or perhaps just an architectural quirk? The truth is, we're not quite sure yet. The discovery of the Big Void opens up new avenues for exploration and research. Scientists are now considering more advanced methods to study the void in detail, like drilling small holes to insert cameras, all without harming the pyramid's structure. This void could provide invaluable insights into how the ancient Egyptians built such monumental structures and why they included such spaces within the pyramid's design. Each new discovery within the Great Pyramid is a piece of the puzzle in understanding one of humanity's most remarkable achievements. The Big Void isn't just an empty space, it's a reminder of the mysteries still waiting to be solved and the stories of the past yet to be told.
Said to be buried together for thousands of years, the mystery of the lost tomb of Cleopatra and Mark Antony has remained a mystery. Perhaps that is, until today. This never-before-seen tunnel has been something regarded as an engineering miracle. And while that whole thing is huge, how does all of this happen in the first place?
The discovery of Cleopatra's tomb is undeniably one of the most thrilling and mysterious achievements in archaeology. Cleopatra VII, the final ruler of the Ptolemaic Kingdom of Egypt, has fascinated people for centuries with her intelligence, political shrewdness, and her famous romances with Roman leaders Julius Caesar and Mark Antony. For ages, the location of her final resting place remained one of history's most elusive mysteries. The breakthrough in the search for Cleopatra's tomb emerged in the early 21st century. This incredible discovery was driven by Dr. Zahi Hawass, Egypt's former Minister of Antiquities, and Kathleen Martinez, a Dominican lawyer turned self-taught archaeologist with a deep passion for Cleopatra. Martinez, fueled by her admiration for Cleopatra and her extensive research of ancient texts, posited that Cleopatra and Mark Antony were buried in the temple of Osiris Magna, near the ancient city of Alexandria. Martinez's theory was rooted in a detailed analysis of historical accounts by Plutarch and Cassius Dio, suggesting Cleopatra might have been buried in a temple dedicated to the goddess Isis. This idea contrasted with the prevailing belief that Cleopatra was interred within Alexandria itself. In 2005, Martinez obtained permission from the Egyptian authorities to commence excavations at Osiris Magna. The excavation at Osiris Magna was challenging. The site, located on the edge of the Libyan desert, posed significant difficulties due to its unstable structures and the complex layers of archaeological deposits. Over several years, the team uncovered notable artifacts, including coins with Cleopatra's likeness, statues, and inscriptions, all supporting the hypothesis that the site was connected to Cleopatra. A particularly intriguing aspect of this discovery was the mysterious and seemingly serendipitous nature of many findings. Key discoveries often coincided with unusual weather events like sudden sandstorms and unexpected rains, almost as if guiding the archaeologists to crucial areas. Some team members reported vivid dreams and visions of ancient rituals, which they interpreted as spiritual guidance. An especially fascinating discovery was a large, unfinished tunnel beneath the temple, leading to a series of chambers. This tunnel, carved with precise craftsmanship, suggested that the burial complex was intended for someone of extraordinary significance, possibly Cleopatra herself. Inside these chambers, the team found a hidden room containing a collection of golden artifacts and inscriptions referring to a Queen of Kings, a title often linked to Cleopatra. The initial announcement of the discovery of Cleopatra's tomb attracted immense media attention and widespread public interest. Press conferences were held, documentaries were produced, and the artifacts were meticulously catalogued and preserved. Many of these artifacts, including statues, jewelry, and coins, were exhibited in museums worldwide, drawing millions of visitors eager to learn more about Cleopatra and her era. Following the discovery, Osiris Magna became a focal point for ongoing archaeological research. Scholars and historians collaborated to further investigate the surrounding area, uncovering additional structures and artifacts that offered more insights into the Ptolemaic period. The discovery also led to a re-evaluation of other potential burial sites across Egypt, prompting new excavations and yielding fresh historical data. The site itself transformed into a popular tourist destination, significantly boosting the local economy and fostering a deeper appreciation for Egypt's rich cultural heritage. Educational programs and public lectures spread the knowledge gained from the discovery, inspiring a new generation of archaeologists and historians. Cleopatra's tomb holds a treasure trove of unique and fascinating facts that shed light on her life and reign. One of the most remarkable aspects of Cleopatra was her linguistic prowess. She was fluent in several languages, including Egyptian, Greek, Latin, and possibly others, which allowed her to communicate effectively with various cultures and political leaders. This multilingual ability was a significant asset in her diplomatic engagements and helped her maintain strong political ties. Cleopatra's reign was characterized by a remarkable blend of Egyptian and Hellenistic cultures. She embraced Egyptian customs and religious practices, presenting herself as the reincarnation of the goddess Isis, while also maintaining strong connections to her Greek heritage. This cultural syncretism was reflected in the art, architecture, and religious ceremonies of her time, creating a unique and vibrant cultural landscape. The tomb at Osiris Magna, believed to be Cleopatra's final resting place, is a testament to her architectural vision. The complex features intricate carvings, hidden chambers, and sophisticated tunnels, highlighting the advanced engineering and architectural skills of the period. The tomb's design and construction reflect the grandeur and sophistication that Cleopatra likely envisioned for her eternal abode. The artifacts discovered within the tomb are rich with symbolism. Golden jewelry, statues, and inscriptions reflect Cleopatra's royal status, religious beliefs, and political ambitions. These artifacts offer a glimpse into her life, her reign, and her desire to be remembered as a divine ruler. The symbols and inscriptions provide valuable insights into how Cleopatra viewed herself and how she wanted to be perceived by future generations. The discovery of hidden chambers and tunnels within the tomb complex suggests that Cleopatra may have taken great care to ensure the security and sanctity of her final resting place. These hidden features indicate a sophisticated understanding of architecture and a deep respect for the afterlife. The hidden chambers and tunnels add an element of mystery and intrigue to the tomb, highlighting the lengths to which Cleopatra went to protect her legacy. The tomb complex at Osiris Magna is extensive, featuring a series of interconnected chambers and tunnels. The main burial chamber, believed to be the final resting place of Cleopatra, is adorned with intricate carvings and decorated with golden artifacts. The size of the tomb and its elaborate design indicate that it was intended for a person of significant importance, supporting the theory that it belongs to Cleopatra. Among the artifacts discovered were numerous statues, some depicting Cleopatra herself, others representing Egyptian gods and goddesses. The team also found a wealth of golden jewelry, including necklaces, bracelets, and rings, many of which are inscribed with hieroglyphs and symbols associated with royalty and divinity. Additionally, coins bearing Cleopatra's likeness and inscriptions were uncovered, further supporting the identification of the tomb. These artifacts not only highlight Cleopatra's royal status, but also provide a tangible connection to the historical figure, enriching our understanding of her life and reign. One of the most enduring mysteries surrounding Cleopatra is the exact circumstances of her passing. The traditional account suggests that she took herself by allowing an asp, a venomous snake, to bite her. However, some scholars propose alternative theories. Another intriguing theory is that Cleopatra's relationship with Rome was more complex than commonly portrayed. Some historians believe that her alliances with Julius Caesar and later with Mark Antony were part of a broader strategy to create a unified Greco-Roman Egyptian empire, with Alexandria as its capital. This theory suggests that Cleopatra's ambitions extended beyond Egypt, envisioning a new world order centered around her rule. The discovery of Cleopatra's tomb has also sparked speculation about a potential curse associated with disturbing her final resting place. Similar to the curse of Tutankhamun's tomb, some believe that those who enter Cleopatra's tomb may face misfortune or supernatural retribution. While there is no concrete evidence to support this theory, it adds an element of mystery and intrigue to the discovery. One of the most mysterious coincidences related to the discovery of Cleopatra's tomb is the alignment of astrological events. Researchers noted that significant breakthroughs in the excavation process often coincided with notable celestial events, such as eclipses and planetary conjunctions. Some believe that these alignments were not mere coincidences, but rather signs of divine intervention or ancient knowledge encoded in the tomb's design. Several members of the excavation team reported experiencing intuitive insights and inexplicable hunches that guided their efforts. These insights often led to significant discoveries, such as the location of hidden chambers or the interpretation of cryptic inscriptions. While these experiences cannot be scientifically explained, they add a layer of mystery to the discovery process. Cleopatra's legacy also includes her efforts to position herself as a divine ruler. She was closely associated with the goddess Isis and often depicted herself as the goddess's earthly embodiment. This association was part of her strategy to legitimize her rule and strengthen her connection with the Egyptian people. The artifacts found in her tomb, including statues and inscriptions depicting her as Isis, underscore this aspect of her reign.
Here we are.
Hidden deep in the desert sands of Abydos, approximately 350 miles south of the Great Pyramid of Giza, stands the Osirion, a monumental structure shrouded in mystery. Its origins, purpose, and design have baffled archaeologists and researchers for decades. Unlike the well-known temples of ancient Egypt, the Osirion defies traditional pharaonic architectural norms, leading some to believe it could be the product of a much older, technologically advanced civilization. Could this ancient structure hold the key to a forgotten chapter of human history? The first puzzle presented by the Osirion lies in its striking architectural divergence from typical Egyptian temples. While most temples of the pharaonic era adhere to a linear rectangular layout, the Osirion's design breaks the mold with its unique L-shaped configuration. This anomaly alone raises critical questions about the intentions behind its construction. Was it built for a different purpose than Egypt's standard religious edifices? Or does it reflect the architectural style of an unknown, perhaps much older culture? Adding to the mystery is the Osirion's relationship with the nearby temple of Seti Prayus, built during the 19th dynasty. Archaeological evidence suggests that the Osirion predates the temple of Seti Ras by centuries, if not millennia, implying that the site held significant importance long before the reign of Seti. This ancient structure was already in place when Seti chose to build his temple beside it, as though honoring an ancient relic from a bygone era. What made the Osirion so significant, and why did it attract the attention of the Egyptian kings? The sheer scale of the Osirion is awe-inspiring. The core of the structure is composed of massive rose granite blocks, some of which weigh an astonishing 100 tons. These immense stones were quarried from Aswan, located over 200 miles to the south, a logistical challenge that seems insurmountable given the tools and technology traditionally attributed to the Egyptians of the time. Moving these massive blocks across hundreds of miles of desert, and then precisely positioning them in a desert location far from the Nile, is a feat that defies explanation. Without evidence of advanced machinery, how were these massive stones transported and assembled with such precision? The Osirion's architecture, featuring a sophisticated double-layered roofing system and interlocking wedges, suggests a level of engineering knowledge far beyond what ancient Egypt is known to have possessed. The use of granite, a hard and unforgiving material, only adds to the mystery. Working with granite requires advanced tools and knowledge, skills that, according to historical records, the Egyptians had not yet developed during the early dynastic periods. Another striking feature of the Osirion is its complete lack of Egyptian hieroglyphs or artwork. In contrast to nearly every other Egyptian temple or monument, which are richly decorated with carvings, inscriptions, and illustrations, the Osirian is eerily bare. Throughout Egypt's history, temples were frequently renovated, with each generation adding new inscriptions and artwork. Even more unusual is the Osirian's subterranean layout, which is highly uncharacteristic of Egyptian temple architecture. The entire structure lies 15 feet below ground level, leading some researchers to propose that the temple could be far older than its surrounding counterparts. The idea that it predates the buildup of sand and soil that has accumulated over millennia suggests a timeline stretching back to an era before the sands of Egypt's desert even existed in their current form. Water erosion patterns found on the limestone enclosure surrounding the Osirian add yet another layer to the mystery. Some researchers argue that these erosion marks could only have been caused by a much wetter climate, possibly dating the structure back to the end of the last ice age, when the region experienced more rainfall. If true, this would place the Osirian's construction over 10,000 years ago, far earlier than the dynastic Egyptian civilization. Perhaps the most intriguing feature of the Osirian is the presence of water within the structure itself. Modern seismic technology has revealed that the visible portion of the Osirian is only the uppermost part of a much larger complex, which extends at least 50 feet below the current floor level. Beneath the surface, seismic tests have indicated the presence of hollow chambers, which have yet to be explored due to the water that continually fills the site. Despite multiple attempts, archaeologists have been unable to drain the water, which seems to replenish at an alarming rate. The source of this water remains unknown, and its continuous flow presents a baffling enigma. Some researchers suggest that the Osirian's complex hydraulic system, which includes channels, basins, and possibly sluices, was designed to control and manipulate water flow within the structure. The precision of these features points to an advanced understanding of hydraulic engineering, something not typically associated with ancient Egyptian technology. While the Egyptians were known for their use of irrigation canals and basins for agriculture, the Osirian's water management techniques are far more sophisticated. The mysteries of the Osirian continue to deepen as researchers attempt to unlock its secrets. The constant replenishment of water within the structure defies explanation. James Westerman, a renowned archaeologist and historian, has spent decades studying the Osirian. His efforts to pump out the water from the structure have been met with frustration. Even with a pump capable of removing 500 gallons of water per minute, the water level continues to rise, seemingly replenishing itself faster than it can be removed. Westerman's words capture the perplexity of the situation. Water is emerging from inside the structure. This shouldn't be happening, especially in the desert. Something strange is going on here. In 2023, Westerman's team employed advanced technology to analyze the water within the Osirian, measuring its pressure, temperature, conductivity, and chemical composition. The results were astounding. The water in the Osirian was found to have a unique chemical profile, different from the surrounding wells and aquifers in the area. Westerman's research suggested that the water was being forced up through the structure, almost as though it were being propelled by some unknown force. The water's chemical composition and isotopic profile indicated that it did not originate from the nearby Nile River or local aquifers. Where, then, is this water coming from? The Osirian's water behaves more like that of a geyser, but without the typical signs of volcanic activity. Is there an underground spring or reservoir beneath the structure, or could the water be flowing from a deeper, as yet undiscovered source? One of the most intriguing aspects of the water is its unique properties. Westerman conducted hydrologic studies and found that the water within the Osirian was drinkable after filtration. Over time, Westerman began drinking the water regularly, and he noticed something extraordinary. His eyesight began to improve. A lifelong sufferer of nearsightedness, Westerman eventually no longer needed glasses, a fact that was confirmed by an eye test. Could the water from the Osirian possess healing properties? Westermann believes so and continues to drink the water, attributing his improved vision to its mysterious qualities. Yet another anomaly is the temperature of the water. The water outside the Osirian measures a consistent 16.9 degrees Celsius, but the water inside the structure is significantly warmer, measuring 23.8 degrees Celsius. This temperature difference defies the second law of thermodynamics, which states that heat cannot spontaneously transfer from a cooler to a warmer body. Something within the Osirian is heating the water, but no one knows what it is or how it is happening. As researchers continue to study the Osirian, its true scale and purpose remain elusive. What is visible today may only be the tip of the iceberg. The structure extends far beneath the surface, with hidden chambers still unexplored due to the constant flow of water. Could these underground chambers hold more secrets about the origins of the Osirian and its builders? As we probe deeper into the Osirian's mysteries, we are left with more questions than answers. One thing is certain: this ancient structure is far older and more complex than we ever imagined, and it may hold the key to understanding a lost chapter of human history.
This is something, again, that's not widely known. A Judaic community in Ethiopia, they say that their ancestors brought the Ark of the Covenant to Ethiopia.
We're told this in great depth in the Bible and how dangerous that energy is. Well, this concept of winged figures is also very much part of the ancient Egyptian heritage.
So, what exactly is this Ark of the Covenant that everyone keeps talking about? Well, the Bible describes it as a pretty impressive piece of religious furniture. Imagine a chest made of wood but completely overlaid with gold. And that's not all. It had a fancy lid with two golden angels facing each other. But its importance wasn't about its bling factor. Inside this chest were the stone tablets containing the 10 Commandments, the foundation of the agreement between God and his chosen people. The Ark wasn't just a box, it was the holiest of holies. It represented God's presence among them. The Bible even gives super specific instructions on how it should be built and handled. Only certain priests were allowed to carry it, and they had to use poles, so no direct touching. Initially, the Ark was kept in a portable tent-like structure called the Tabernacle during their desert travels. Later, it got a permanent upgrade when King Solomon built his temple in Jerusalem, where it rested in the super-sacred inner sanctum. For centuries, the Ark of the Covenant has been a source of endless fascination. This legendary golden chest, as described in the Bible, housed the tablets of the 10 Commandments and symbolized God's presence among his people. But since its disappearance after the Babylonian conquest of Jerusalem, its fate has been shrouded in mystery. Now imagine the headlines. Scientists have pinpointed the Ark's location, ready to reveal one of the greatest archaeological discoveries ever. Or have they? The world of Ark of the Covenant theories is a tangled web of historical speculation, passionate belief, and some outright wild ideas. While serious scholars generally focus on the likely destruction of the Ark in antiquity, the excitement of uncovering this legendary artifact leads to an array of persistent, if often far-fetched, claims about its whereabouts. Let's dive into the supposed secret locations, and why the fascination with the Ark refuses to die. Jerusalem, the heart of the Ark's story, remains a prime focus of speculation. The Temple Mount, the site of the ancient Jewish temples, is a maze of tunnels and chambers. Could the Ark be hidden in these unexplored depths? Some historical anecdotes lend a sliver of credence to this idea. Prior to the Roman siege in 70 AD, Jewish priests might have taken extraordinary measures to protect the Ark. This opens the door to legends of secret passages and hidden vaults beneath the sacred site. For the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, the question of the Ark's location is settled. They believe it resides in the Church of Our Lady Mary of Zion in Aksum. According to their tradition, the Ark was brought to Ethiopia by Menelik I, the son of King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba. The Ark is never displayed and is closely guarded, making verification of this claim impossible. However, even the possibility of the Ark's existence in Ethiopia holds immense religious importance as a tangible connection to the object at the heart of Jewish and Christian traditions. Where mainstream archaeology often reaches a dead end, conspiracy theories rush in. One popular narrative involves the Knights Templar, medieval warrior monks who amassed wealth and influence during the Crusades. Did they uncover the Ark in Jerusalem and bring it back to Europe? Though there's no historical support, this idea fuels thrilling stories like the Da Vinci Code, where secret societies and hidden lineages protect the Ark and its supposed extraordinary power. Beyond the Templars, other groups like the Freemasons get drawn into the orbit of the Ark of the Covenant. Conspiracy theorists often imagine these societies as possessing esoteric knowledge, wielding the Ark as a tool of influence or hiding it for their own ends. Some theories go fully into the realm of the fantastical. Think of the movie Raiders of the Lost Ark, where the Ark possesses terrifying destructive might. These ideas stem from biblical passages warning of the danger of approaching the Ark improperly. Could it be a weapon? A repository of supernatural energy? For some, these exaggerated readings open the door to outlandish speculations. The supposed locations of the Ark take us on a global tour. Some theories link the Ark to the Lemba people of southern Africa, who have cultural practices and genetic markers suggesting a possible Middle Eastern origin. Did their ancestors bring the Ark with them on a long-ago migration? Other legends place the Ark in Rome, plundered by the legions who sacked Jerusalem in 70 AD, and rumored to lie hidden beneath the churches or even within the Vatican's vast archives. Stranger still, some claims take the Ark off-planet entirely, painting its origins as extraterrestrial technology gifted to ancient humanity. The classic rectangular chest shape sometimes draws comparisons to Egyptian ritual boxes as well. The Ark's allure persists in its unique blend of power, danger, and the thrill of an unresolved mystery. But where does this perception of power come from? And how has it shaped our understanding of the Ark across time? The Bible itself is the source of the Ark's awe-inspiring reputation. It's not just an object, it's described as a conduit for divine presence. The elaborate rituals for handling it and the stories of dire consequences for touching it, like the unfortunate Djoser, reinforce the idea that this wasn't merely a fancy storage container. While mainstream science rejects the notion of the Ark as a literal weapon, it doesn't stop some outlandish theories. Ideas about electrical charges, radioactivity, or unknown materials try to explain away the Ark's biblical effects. Whether credible or not, these attempts add to the Ark's mystique. There's always that lingering question in the back of one's mind. What if? Fascinatingly, the concept of sacred chests isn't unique to the Israelites. Ancient Egypt brimmed with portable deity shrines, and other cultures used similar boxes in religious processions. Could the Ark, rather than being wholly unique, be part of a broader cultural tradition from its time period? This adds another layer of complexity and historical grounding to the Ark's story. Even in other Abrahamic faiths, echoes of the Ark's significance linger. The Quran's references to a sacred chest with relics could be a trace of shared tradition. The Baha'i faith goes even further, transforming the Ark entirely into a metaphor for the divine knowledge revealed by prophets throughout history. This shows how potent the Ark's core symbolism remains. Over time, did the Ark shift from a physical object to a symbol of the covenant itself? Replicas might have existed, powerful in their spiritual weight even if no longer containing the original tablets. Medieval art depicts the Ark with dramatic flair, influencing modern representations despite often diverging from biblical descriptions. And of course, pop culture loves the Ark. Remember Indiana Jones and his face-melting encounter? It's the perfect mix of historical enigma and a touch of the supernatural, a guaranteed recipe for a thrilling adventure. This potent mix of history, mystery, and the sheer potential for thrilling narratives keeps the Ark's flame alive. But why does the Ark of the Covenant hold such power over our imaginations? Here's the key. Historical gaps exist. Its disappearance during a turbulent time leaves ample space for speculation. Did it perish? Does it lay waiting to be unearthed? The uncertainty is a blank canvas where theories can easily take root. Whether one approaches the Ark from a perspective of faith or historical curiosity, it represents something profound, a connection to the divine, a symbol of God's covenant with the Israelites, or a relic of a bygone era. This emotional and spiritual dimension adds fuel to the quest. Secret societies, hidden clues, quests against the odds, all these elements make for gripping tales. The Ark is embedded in a storytelling tradition that, while not always historically accurate, is undeniably captivating. Deep down, we are drawn to the unsolved, the mysterious. The Ark, straddling history and legend, is the ultimate archaeological puzzle that may never have a definitive answer. While scientists discover makes for a thrilling headline, it's crucial to inject a dose of realism into the Ark of the Covenant narrative. Most reputable archaeologists view the Babylonian destruction of the first temple in 587 BC as the most likely end of the Ark. While not impossible, the survival of an intricately crafted, gold-covered wooden object over millennia, through battles and sieges, seems improbable. Locations based on legends often lack physical evidence to support archaeological exploration. Claims need tangible proof to transition from speculation to scientific process. Additionally, many of the places rumored to hold the Ark are actively used for worship. The search cannot come at the expense of violating religious sensitivities or disrupting communities built on deeply held beliefs. The Ark of the Covenant sits fascinatingly on the line between history, faith, and the enduring human desire to uncover the extraordinary. It's unlikely that any future discovery will fully satisfy everyone. After all, the enduring power of the Ark rests partly in its enigma. Is there a chance the Ark is still out there? Perhaps. But the true treasure might lie in what this ongoing search reveals about ourselves, our need for stories, our reverence for the past, and our unending capacity for wonder.
When you picture ancient Egypt, what comes to mind? Majestic pyramids, powerful pharaohs, mummies shrouded in mystery, perhaps their pantheon of gods, Isis, Horus, Ra. But Zeus? Probably not the first deity that springs to mind. Yet a recent discovery in Egypt's Sinai Peninsula has unearthed a lost temple dedicated to the Greek god of the sky.
Egypt, once a mighty empire, had been weakened by internal strife and external pressures. The Persians, under Cambyses II, dealt a significant blow by conquering Egypt in the 6th century BC. Although Egyptians managed to regain independence for a time, they were never quite the same force. This vulnerability paved the way for Alexander the Great's conquest in 332 BC. Unlike the Persians who largely imposed their rule, Alexander cleverly integrated himself into the Egyptian framework. He recognized the power of the Egyptian gods and even participated in their rituals, a strategic move to gain the acceptance of his new subjects. He started the construction of a temple dedicated to the goddess Isis, demonstrating his respect for Egyptian religious traditions. After Alexander's untimely death, his vast empire was divided amongst his generals. Ptolemy I Soter, a shrewd and capable leader, emerged as the ruler of Egypt. In 305 BC, he declared himself pharaoh, marking the beginning of the Ptolemaic dynasty. This wasn't just a change in leadership, it was a cultural shift. This Greek dynasty reigned for almost 300 years, ending with Cleopatra's tragic death. The Ptolemies brought their Greek heritage, including their mythology, into Egypt. They were a rather insular bunch, maintaining their Greek identity through, well, a lot of intermarrying. 10 out of 15 Ptolemaic marriages were between siblings. Most rulers didn't even bother learning Egyptian. Cleopatra was the exception, the first and last of her line to master the language. The Ptolemies, though of Greek origin, understood the importance of respecting Egyptian traditions to maintain their power. They adopted Egyptian titles, participated in religious ceremonies, and even portrayed themselves in traditional pharaonic style. However, they also brought their own Greek heritage with them. This led to a unique blend of cultures, evident in art, architecture, and religion. Temples like the one discovered in Pelusium are a testament to this fusion. While dedicated to Greek gods, they were likely influenced by Egyptian architectural styles, and may have even incorporated elements of Egyptian religious practices. But Pelusium's story predates the Ptolemies. It was a key player in the Persian conquest of Egypt in 525 BC. The young pharaoh Psemtik III faced the formidable Persian king Cambyses II. Psemtik, betrayed by his Greek allies and plagued by bad omens, stood no chance. The Battle of Pelusium was a bloodbath. Legend has it, the Persians exploited the Egyptians' reverence for cats, using them as shields to advance on the city. Unable to harm the sacred animals, the Egyptians were routed. Psemtik was captured and ultimately took his own life, marking the end of an era for Egypt. The sands of time quite literally swallowed Pelusium whole. Despite its once strategic importance as a bustling port city and a key military stronghold, its location at the Pelusiac branch of the Nile Delta proved to be its downfall. Over centuries, the relentless Nile deposited silt that gradually choked the harbour, cutting off its lifeline to the Mediterranean. As the coastline receded, Pelusium lost its strategic advantage and its economic importance dwindled. By 1100 AD, it was completely abandoned, left to the mercy of the encroaching desert. The city's decline and eventual burial under layers of sand explain why the temple remained hidden for so long. Early excavations in 1910, led by French Egyptologist Jean Clédat, offered tantalizing clues. He uncovered inscriptions mentioning a sacred enclosure dedicated to Zeus Cassios, but the temple itself remained elusive. Fast forward to 2022, and a team of archaeologists from the Egyptian Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities, led by Dr. Mustafa Waziri, were conducting excavations at the Tel Farama site, the location of ancient Pelusium. They unearthed massive granite columns, some reaching a height of 12 meters, toppled and fragmented. These colossal columns, along with limestone walls and other architectural elements, confirmed the existence of the long-lost temple of Zeus Cassios. Mount Cassios, a towering peak located on the border between what is now Syria and Turkey, held immense religious importance for millennia. It was revered as a sacred space by various cultures, including the Canaanites, Phoenicians, and Greeks. For the Greeks, Mount Cassios was inextricably linked to Zeus. The epithet Cassios likely derives from the mountain itself, suggesting a fusion of the Greek god Zeus with a local deity worshipped on Mount Cassios. This blending of divine figures reflects the cultural exchange and syncretism that characterized the ancient world, particularly in regions like Pelusium, where different civilizations converged. Mount Cassios was steeped in mythology. According to Greek legend, it was the site of a titanic battle between Zeus and the fearsome monster Typhon. Typhon, a monstrous serpent with 100 fire-breathing heads, challenged Zeus for control of the cosmos. The epic clash between these powerful forces shook the very foundations of the earth. Ultimately, Zeus emerged victorious, casting Typhon into the depths of Tartarus, a deep abyss in the underworld. Mount Cassios wasn't always associated with Zeus. Long before the Greeks arrived, it was known as Mount Zaphon, a sacred site for the Canaanites who worshipped Baal, the formidable storm god. Like Zeus Cassios, Baal was intrinsically linked to the mountain, embodying the forces of nature, storms, rain, and the fertility they brought. This connection to Baal adds another dimension to the temple story. It suggests that the site held religious significance long before the Greeks arrived, highlighting the continuity and evolution of religious beliefs in this region. The influence of Baal extended even to the Egyptian pantheon. He became the prototype for Set, the god of chaos, storms, and the desert. This demonstrates the fluidity of religious ideas in the ancient world, where deities and myths were adopted, adapted, and transformed across cultures. The story takes another turn with the arrival of the Romans. Emperor Hadrian, known for his passion for Greek culture and his extensive travels throughout the Roman Empire, took a particular interest in the temple of Zeus Cassios. Inscriptions found within the ruins indicate that he undertook renovations, likely restoring and embellishing the structure. Showcasing the enduring appeal of this sacred site across different empires and eras. The Temple of Zeus Cassios at Pelusium truly embodies the cultural melting pot that characterized the ancient Mediterranean world. It reflects the convergence of Canaanite, Greek, Egyptian, and Roman influences, highlighting the exchange of ideas, beliefs, and artistic traditions that shaped this region. This archaeological discovery provides a tangible link to this rich and layered past, reminding us of the interconnectedness of ancient civilizations. If you enjoyed this journey through time, then prepare yourself for our next adventure. We're delving deep into the heart of ancient Egypt, a land of pharaohs, pyramids, and mysteries waiting to be unearthed. Join us as we explore the life and legacy of Alexander the Great, the Macedonian king who conquered Egypt and forever changed its course. Discover how his reign ushered in a new era of Greek influence, revitalizing the economy and transforming the cultural landscape. Uncover the secrets of this ancient civilization and witness the clash of cultures that shaped the destiny of Egypt.